It is now 6:01 on June 9th. I'm Mark McIntyre, Chairman of the Southampton Village Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. With me are fellow board members Susan Stevenson, Jane Clare, Kathy Buxton, and board member Nina Edward Anchor is joining us by Zoom. So with that, we have quorum, so I'm going to motion to open the June 9th meeting of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And just let me know when Nina's up. Also joining us tonight is our counsel, Alice Cooley. In the back, we have our recording secretary, Jackie Allen, and Sage Certain is running video. Just for comment, the next meeting will be 2 weeks from tonight, which is June 24th.
23rd.
And with that, we're off and running. June 23rd?
23rd.
I say 23rd, so we're off and running. Okay, so the first thing on the agenda is minutes approval from May 12th. Did everyone receive the minutes?
Yes,
Did you have a chance to read them?
I did.
You made changes. You made corrections, I think.
Yes, I always do.
Okay.
Just mine.
So no, you do. I like that. So I do too. So motion to accept the minutes from May 12th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and the next thing on the agenda is a written decision for 270 Ox Pasture Road LLC. Alice, do you want to give us a top line?
Sure. This is a certificate of appropriateness to construct exterior alterations to an existing dwelling, an existing detached garage, and to construct 4 new accessory structures.
Did everyone receive the decision?
Yes.
Have a chance to read it? Are there any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. So then motion to accept the written decision for 270 Ox Pasture Road as written. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is Nina up yet? Okay. Okay, that moves us on, I believe, to signs. The first one is for Mattress Warehouse. Is anyone here from Mattress Warehouse? Okay. The committee's actually looked at Mattress Warehouse and has agreed that the as-submitted version C is fine. So we're going to approve that one. So that'll take us into new matters, which is ABC Carpet and Home. Is anyone here from ABC Carpet and Home?
Sure.
You can be either.
Harry Millard with Hampton Signs.
Yep.
ABC Homes wants to put a sign up over top of their door. I dropped it off, a copy of it today.
Yep. Do you have a copy with you?
I do.
Can you just put it on the table so everyone can see it? Is this the most recent one? Yep.
And One Pond Lane is being removed from there?
One Pond Lane's not on the building.
It isn't?
No, it's down here in the window.
Oh, okay. I'll find it.
Okay.
You've seen it?
Yes, yes. I just wanted to say that even there, it looks like the B and the H, look at the very top of the sign, that might just be the way it was, the image was done.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I don't care. You can
I-
read it.
The only thing that I would say is if it could come down in scale a little bit, because it's pretty big. If it could come down in scale, do you see the window over the door?
Yes.
If it could come down to about the width of that and make sure that there's airspace all the way around it, it will still be plenty big, but it won't be quite as enormous, and I think that would be fine.
And what color is the font?
Black.
Okay. I would have preferred it to match the blue lighting, but whatever.
I
Whatever they
don't.
want.
They
There.
want pink.
What?
It's plenty
They want
blue,
pink.
I think.
Yeah. Well, if you could just send me a drawing with it just slightly smaller, down to that
I'm-
scale, then
I'm
we'll put it to
wearing
the
the
committee, and then
color.
we can approve it.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
the color.
And thank
They
you,
love their
because that
pink.
building is actually required that tell
It's
them, at
good.
one point, they changed the neon on the building was changed from blue to red. And actually, in the decision for that building, when it was approved, the neon was only approved in blue. Somebody told them because they took it back to blue, but they should know that in the original written decision for that building, blue was required.
Okay.
Okay?
It's
Are
very
you also here
particular.
for atoutage?
Yes.
Great.
It's a toutage. At any age, yeah.
There's a store near Kevin Maples. That's all I know.
So we got raised letters up over this window here, replacing actually raised letters that are there existing already.
I don't have it now.
Is the font the thing up top there?
I got a bigger picture for you.
Oh, thank you, I got it. It's too big.
And it's also gold.
It's gold.
Yeah, it's gold.
Everything, honestly, everything in that area is all gold.
What?
Other stores in there are
I don't
gold.
see any.
Kevin Maples is white.
Yeah, and the other marina is black. Well, it doesn't matter, we don't like gold, do we? We don't like the glitzy.
Well, it's not a matter of like, it's not permitted
Yeah,
in the
it's
code.
not- We don't. I'm saying it's too big, and I think gold is inappropriate, especially with the surround for the building.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Jane?
I agree,
Did you-
yes.
did you
Ye-
see it?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
yeah, I agree.
Okay. I think I agree as well. When you look at, when I walk by the the scale of this compared to the scale of what Marina in the back is considerably larger. So I think if we can bring it back down to about the same size and scale that Marina has in the back, and then it'll look like more cohesive to the front of the building. And if they can do it in another color that's not a gold, that would be good. Black would be good. Okay.
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 And now another French.
And then we have one more, which is, are you also the
sur
restaurant?
mer?
I am,
I get everything here to one person tonight. This is good.
There we
Okay.
go. Cesar. Can we,
The
so
glut,
the frame
That's-
is already there, we're not touching the frame. We're
Yep.
just replacing the oval
that's.
with the
we're
same
on
exact
Sean.
size
Yes, the
oval
old,
that's there.
it's the old Enchanté. Yeah.
I think it looks nice, actually.
I'm fine with it.
Trashy.
Okay. Okay. This one apparently is fine.
Two extra.
Okay,
Okay.
Are you going to vote on that?
yeah.
Okay. So
We're-
with that, if you will resubmit Atouage or an ABC, we can,
ABC smaller.
and then
yeah.
we'll put it in front of the committee, and if they're
We have
fine,
to
then
vote on
we'll.
the other one.
Which one?
Which one?
La Goulou.
The one you're approving.
Oh,
La
okay.
Goulou sur mer.
Okay, motion to approve the sign for La Goulou-sur-Mer as stamped into the village on June 4th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Excellent. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Have a nice night.
Okay, so that takes us down to demolition evaluation for 276 Hill Street. Is the applicant here? This one up.
Mark, I just want to clarify, I assume that this is an error on the agenda. It says COA. This is not a COA, right?
276 Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this outside the historic district?
No,
Well,
it is a
it'd be a s-
demo and.
There-
no?
it-
well, it
it's
can't
two.
be a COA. We would require a public hearing. Right?
It's on Hill Street.
Is it in the historic district?
It's
or
in the
not?
historic district. And they're
Well, why
asking,
are we doing a demo eval then?
well, they're doing a demo eval, and
They have to show.
if we're doing a demo, there's a demo eval and a new residence,
It's an entirely different criteria if it's in the historic district
right?
than a demo eval. It's not the same criteria.
Okay.
Is it in the historic district or not?
It is in the
Yes.
historic district.
Okay, then it should not be reviewed under this provision. It's completely different.
What provision are we reading?
Because I have a demo evaluation sheet here suggesting whether or not the board would landmark it, which is not appropriate. That's not what the board would do. We would
Okay.
review it as to whether or not it is appropriate for the board to approve it for a certificate of appropriateness to demolish it.
Right. So what you're basically saying is that the paperwork that you have for this is not COA paperwork, it's landmark, so you have the wrong paperwork for the,
If it's in the historic district.
and it's in the
Hill
historic
Street,
district.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. It's not okay, but I'm going to require the, I'm going to ask that Zach look at it anyway. We're going to ask for a historic report from Zach Studenroth before we actually vote on it anyway. So, because that's, anything in the historic district, we get a report, an independent report before we'll vote on it. So we've got two projects here. You've got you want a demo eval, and we'll have to correct the paperwork for next time, so we have the right criteria paperwork, which, for Alice, because she's correct. And then, why don't we just, since you're already there, why don't you take us through the residents, and we'll go ahead and comment on the residents. We won't vote on it tonight, but we will go ahead and comment. We can give you comment on it.
So this correspondence from Fairfax and Salmons, the second paragraph says, the existing structure on the property has been found not to be historically significant. By whom? Do you
Is that
know?
something from us?
From the architect, Salmons?
Yeah, I think we were here to clarify that, to see if what you thought about it, if we could remove that.
Let me clarify for you. Let me
Wait.
clarify for you.
No.
We're going to have the building looked. We're going to have if it's in the historic district, we have our historic consultant go take a look at the building and give us a report, so we know exactly what we're dealing with.
I thought that was what we were here tonight to do,
Yeah.
to set that up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Got
that's
it.
great. That's
Okay.
perfect. That's
Okay.
perfect.
Well, that's going to happen then.
That's good.
Okay.
And I just wanted to make a comment that when I first opened this file up and I saw Main House, because it's such a long lot, and I thought maybe you were connecting two lots or something, because Main House, it's just one little house in the front. There's
And
no
the-
main house.
Is there?
No.
There's a little pool house in the back, I think. Maybe
But that's a pool house, not, so anyway, I thought it was very confusing when I opened it up, because I kept looking to see if it was connected to another piece of property. I was looking for where the main house was.
Oh, I don't get
No.
that.
There is
All
no
right.
main
You
house.
would say, take main out and just say house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but if you want to, I tell you what, if you want to come to this table and just put the materials out, we'll go ahead and, I know I'm going one out of order here, but let's go ahead since you're there, and let's look at, we can give you comments on the structure, and we won't be voting on it tonight because we won't vote until we've had a historic report.
In
Okay?
terms of our proposal,
Yes.
I didn't think that's what I was doing.
That's okay too.
Well, I'm sorry, because you actually, when you had the,
Well, I mean, should we be seeing this proposal? That doesn't make sense to me.
do what?
We were planning to present it in 2 weeks.
I think that's more appropriate.
All
I think
right,
the demo
okay.
should be
All right.
decided. If you have
Fine.
any information you wish to share with us on the demo, that makes sense to me.
Well, we were just going to ask if we could get a certificate of appropriateness to remove the one-story 1950s
Right.
building and
Okay.
get the
We
ball
have to
rolling
make
on
sure
that.
you're not
Okay.
removing something from
So why don't we do this? Why don't we
1866,
just adjourn the whole thing?
Yep.
We'll get a historic report from Zach. You'll get the right paperwork. That's appropriate for a certificate of appropriateness for the historic district instead of a demo eval outside the historic appropriate from the building department. We'll get the report from Zach, and then next meeting we'll just take care of all of this.
All right,
Is that fair?
sounds good.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
with that, I'm going to motion to adjourn 276 Hill Street to June 23rd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, from the affidavits question, we took jurisdiction.
We have them, yeah.
And we
Sorry,
took
I
juris-
didn't realize
and we
it was
took
the
jurisdi-
same one down there.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
so
we
we're
took
good.
jurisdiction, so we don't
We're
have a
good,
problem there.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Now we're going to go back into order, so we'll bring up 88 Gin, and you have affidavits from last meeting, so we know that
We
one's in
do, we're
order,
good.
because it's actually, okay. John?
'88 Gin.
Oh, John.
88 Gin,
Hey,
John?
Possum. You're always
Come on up. Hi,
eager to get in there.
good evening, everyone. John Bennett for the applicant, and Tim Haynes is with me, who's the architect. I'm just going to say a couple of words, and Tim will present the rest, as he always does quite wonderfully. So this is an application to relocate by about 5 feet for safety and emergency ingress purposes that existing carriage house, to move it a little bit to the, just a tiny bit, 5 feet to the west, because it really hugs the property line of the lot to the east. And of course, we understand that this de minimis relocation will not alter the structure's status as a contributing structure. We're not trying to say by moving it, strips it of its status as a contributing structure. It will, and it is and will be a contributing structure after the movement of 5 feet to the west. We originally filed with the ARB on April 7th, and then this was on for the May 12th hearing. We adjourned in order to update some plans. You may have been given just the update, but there was a very full April filing that had photographs of the existing house and was quite complete. The amended, the reduced plans were, I'm sorry, the amended plans were filed, there's a supplemental filing on May 30th. So you may just have the May 30th filing in your packets. There was an April 7th filing that has a lot of the stuff that you would typically see, photographs of the surrounding, photographs of the home, of the existing home and such as that. I think everyone's familiar
I have
with
both.
this property.
because
Oh, you do? Great, wonderful.
Yeah.
Everyone's familiar with this property. It sits very close to Gin Lane. It is, was built as a true carriage house. People, that.
Wasn't even stable?
Yeah, that nomenclature gets
Yes.
misused. Like, for example, the town code, a carriage house, it's like a guest house. Carriage house really is a house where the carriages
Yeah,
were.
with a
and they were
stable, yeah.
This is,
And there were
Because this was
grooms'
before us
quarters.
before.
Excuse me?
This was before us once before.
Yes.
This is-
Somebody wanted
this
to
is
pick
the-
it up,
this is actually the third-
totally reorient it.
maybe I've been on the ARB too long, but this is the third time I've looked at this house.
Yeah, what happened was somebody, a couple of one of the prior owners wanted to pick it up, move it to the center of the property, and turn it, which is interesting because that's what the planning board wanted it to do, but your predecessors many years ago said they didn't want that to happen. So we listened to all that.
Okay.
And so we're here for some relatively minor exceptions to the existing, changes to the existing carriage house, move it to 5 feet, and a proposed addition. And we hope you'll agree that we took to heart the Interior Secretary's regulations that while trying to be sympathetic to the existing contributing structure, we're not supposed to engage in mimicry. We didn't present a glass box, which is something that tries to be complementary. And I'll let Tim present, and of course we'll help Tim, if necessary, field any questions that the board has.
Okay. Now, here's the tricky part.
Well, those are some
You probably want to sit down, because we need to get you on microphone, and those microphones don't pick up from far away. And then Sage will yell at me if we can't hear you, because we need to hear you, everyone that's out there in the world at large. So,
All right. I'm going to use the half set.
Oh, before
Okay.
I forget, I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm terrible about doing this. Hopefully, the board should be fairly familiar with this. The board, in the not-too-distant past, approved the house, the brand-new house at 72 Gin, sits up on the dune, in effect, and a very significant renovation at 56, both of which Tim was the project architect for. So I think the board, and most of the members are here, most of the members are here, or certainly a couple of the members were here during that whole very extensive process. So the board is familiar with the neighborhood and the surrounding two buildings. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
Right, and we're sort of thrilled to bring the whole compound back together, as it were. Probably, like maybe a lot of you on the board, this has been one of my favorite buildings in the Hamptons for decades. I drive by it, I look down the alley of Privet, I watch the sort of, I was always upset, you know, it was one of those pipe dreams. I'm like, I'd love to have that building. And I sort of watched it year after year just sort of go into disrepair. So we're thrilled to sort of be part of its restoration and transformation into a residence and bring it back to life, hopefully in a way that is very sympathetic in terms of we gave it a lot of care and a lot of thought, hence some of our delay with making sure that from our perspective we had it in a way that we thought was beautiful. adding on to it is something that I took very seriously because it's so perfect as an entity. We wanted whatever we did to add on to it to not be jarring. And we sort of started in a very modern way, and it just didn't work to us. And then we began to sort of overlay things that made it speak more to the barn, and in the end, we think we found a happy balance that connects them while still letting the barn be the star of the show. So, you know where it's located in terms of this overall aerial that's on the front. I don't know if you were paging through the same pages or not, or if we
We're
bring it
hoping
up.
This is
we
our
are.
final photo, this one, I think.
The rendering? Yeah.
Right.
This is our, right, that's what we have.
Yeah, that.
It's, okay.
Right, and then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you want to go straight to the rendering, or do you want to
No,
Let's-
well, we
well,
can,
I-
actually, why don't we start there?
start there?
But I'd actually like you to start with the ground plan and show me exactly, and show everyone exactly, you intend to pick the house up very
Yes,
carefully, because
very carefully.
what's the build year, 1905?
A lot of it has no foundation.
Yeah, 'cause
and
It
it's
just-
sort of it's going into the dirt
Yeah.
as we speak. It's
Because if I recall, there's 14 horse
It's
stalls.
all rotted
It's all
below.
14
I
horse,
know.
it's
I love
14,
how
it's
it
14
looks.
horse
I
stalls.
love how so do we.
Yeah.
I mean, so does
Yeah.
and I think hopefully
Can't,
the restoration that's been done to the other buildings on the property and the addition
Oh,
to the Rose Cottage and to the main house and then the new house on the dune, as it were. This is the final piece, and I think it was done in a very handsome way that should
All right,
be in
so,
addition to the town.
let's start with the ground plan. What's your intention here?
Okay. We can go to. So to turn it into a house on the ground floor plan, we've enclosed the central sort of open breezeway between the two sides of the barn. And we have.
But it's stepped back from the.
Right, it's exactly, so the barn, we're restoring exactly as it is. We're not changing, we're putting in new windows, we're replicating everything that's there now will be there.
Okay, on the ground plan, I'm taking you back to the ground plan.
Mm-hmm,
So right now, you're proposing, you're going to pick this building up
mm-hmm,
very carefully,
yes.
because and you're moving it how far and where?
5 feet to the west and 5 feet to the south.
Oh, so you're moving in both directions.
Well,
Well,
when you
the-
move it to 5 feet
Right.
to the west, because of the shape of the lot,
It becomes closer to Gin Lane. So there
Therefore
was
not
the
conforming,
desire
yeah.
to not have it maintains the same distance from Gin Lane it has right now, which is why the additional 5 feet to the south. The 5 feet to the west was really, we can't get a fire access into that side of the building, God forbid something happens. It's really nothing to do with the aesthetics of the property or changing the look. If I moved that building 5 feet today, no one would, in the exterior, 5 feet is,
So was this a request that was made by the building department and the fire department to move the building 5 feet?
no.
No.
No, we made that, both our own firematics and engineering analysis was, we don't want to have a building that we're going to spend this amount of money renovating vulnerable. You can't
Okay.
you have to be able to fight the fire around it, and you have to have emergency vehicle access. It's 14, 15 feet there. Acceptable emergency vehicle access under the state of New York is 20 feet.
It's 20 feet.
Yeah,
Okay.
so- And
All right.
again, I don't think it's going to be visible to the, and I have some precedent for that you did on Hill Street. Remember
we're not doing it to change the,
No, I was
Look
just,
of the
I just
property.
wanted, this is your decision. You were not asked to do it by the fire department.
no.
No,
Okay.
but we think it's.
Although I've had the fire
wise.
department show up afterwards on certain things and saying, I
Okay.
need 4 more feet. And
Yeah. Okay.
better to do it now.
Okay.
And you did this once on Hill Street, that antique store? I have
Oh,
copies of it.
no. It looks nice now, though.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
you allowed that to
I
move
think it looks nice.
back
It
5
does.
feet because actually there were, on
It
2
was
occasions,
car
a
wrecks.
car drove into it.
Yes,
Yeah.
car wrecks, I
Yeah,
remember
because the
that.
street got wider.
I
Okay,
think it
just
looks
on the
pretty
record.
swell.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going 5 feet west and 5 feet south, south.
South.
Okay,
So-
But again, we're stipulating that it doesn't
Okay.
change at all its character as a contributing structure.
right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because Zach at one time said, oh, if you move it, does Zach change
Well,
it?
technically, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, so,
but-
but we can,
okay, but-
we'll stipulate that we're not making that argument.
All
Well, I
right,
do think it could be vulnerable to fire, actually. It's
Yeah.
because it's huge.
Yeah.
You know, that's the
Right.
kind of thing that isn't good. So,
Okay.
Right.
Moving
all right.
on.
Now let's go
Moving
back,
on.
now let's start with, have you rendered all elevations or just the one rendering?
Just the one.
Okay.
No.
Well, let's start with the big rendering there, and then you can take us through elevation by elevation.
That screen's dark.
No,
Why
you
is
should.
this so dark?
Oh.
Yeah.
Do I
Turn
have
it
to do
around.
up
You
Yeah.
have to turn
towards
it
me?
around.
Yeah,
you get-
Every
you get to
week
look
is
at
a
it.
I get to
different
look,
thing
yeah.
here. All right.
Okay.
It
That's,
seems,
that's nice.
seems a little dark. It's
Okay.
pretty. Is there a reason why that looks so dark?
Huh?
Doesn't it look dark on the screen?
It does.
I mean,
And that one's in
that
and
one's out, but
Yeah. Well,
your thing is bright.
Here it is.
Yeah, I have it. I'm just, for the rest of the world.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
the joy of sending things around on the computer. You have no idea
All right,
what
take us,
color people
okay,
are
let's
going to
go
see.
through.
Okay. So starting with the historic structure, everything you see is just a restoration of exactly what's there now. The only difference is it is an open breezeway in the middle where we have proposed putting in the sort of bronze leaded, not leaded, the bronze iron.
Because otherwise you have
Just let 'em go.
half of the first floor
Okay,
that you
just-
can't
Right,
get.
right.
Yeah,
you can't
okay.
get to. Yeah.
Just let 'em go.
And the finish of, so these are sort of finishes I brought as well.
Okay.
So natural shingle, these were the windows that, the steel windows we were talking about in one instance on the house only, which is just in that middle so that it maintains that negative idea that it's an open space and you don't see white grid. And all the trim work painted the same white as the other buildings on the property, which I brought a sample of here.
Okay,
Again, because wherever there was a sliding barn door, those doors are being replicated as they were originally. However, we had to put glass behind them. So you'll see on the renderings, we've just done a very simple 4-light panel of glass when they do slide open. Again, to try to keep that idea that those are
Are you-
open and large.
are you looking to replace all the windows that are in there?
Yes.
There are windows in there that slide down into the walls. Are you replacing them like as is? Are you
Well, it's
replacing the
gonna
window
where
with the
they're a
same?
bedroom, we have
Yeah.
to make sure we have
Yeah,
egress.
but
et
in
cetera.
the original windows, there were several of them that literally slid down and into the wall
Yeah.
when it was built.
Anything, we're really just trying to replicate exactly what's there. So if it slides in, we slide in. If it slides,
Okay.
the only problem will be if there's a double hung in a couple of the rooms where they're bedrooms where they only opened up this much, we're going to have to make it look like a double hung, but have it
Pretty-
hinge as a casement so that, again, life safety to get out of the room.
And then I have a bunch of picky questions. Because this was a barn,
Right.
when you pick it up, you're putting a new foundation under it or a slab?
New foundation,
And just a
full
new basement? Okay. When you drop it back down, will it visually be at ground level?
Yes,
If we could just ask for quiet in the audience, thanks.
we're maintaining exactly its height that it is right now.
Okay, so it won't raise, so it'll always look like what it was a barn because it was at grade,
Correct.
because there's no foundation under it. Okay.
Correct.
Otherwise, we'd be on our way to the zoning board. We're very, very careful to maintain the height.
Yeah, and there's actually 2 heights within the building now, which we're maintaining. So the area that is to the south, where there's the one sliding barn door, that area is actually the lowest point in the house, and it is now. It's in the barn, I guess we have to call it. And that's, that one's actually opens right at grade. Some of the other rooms are actually slightly above grade, so that there are, is a step down from some rooms.
This is a certificated single-family residence, just that no one is
Okay.
questioning that. It has a CO for a single-family residence, because there are the groom's quarters up top.
Mm-hmm.
And a huge hayloft.
Huge.
Huge hayloft with a big sliding hook in it. It's the
We're
coolest,
actually,
it's the coolest
we're,
thing.
we're actually turning keeping the stables, the actual stalls inside, and turning it into sort of bunk room, bedrooms, you know, like place where we can,
Okay.
it's extraordinary inside. We're trying to
It
maintain
is.
as much even of the materiality of inside, taking it off, reapplying it. We have to insulate, obviously, we have to do all new electric and plumbing, but wherever we can.
Yeah, we don't have purview over the interior.
No, I know. I'm
but
just telling you.
I bet there are some spectacular stairways in there. And there are
The
some,
staircases were
and there's some
completely rebuilding
interior
as they are
and there's
right
some
now.
interior window vistas in that building that are not to be believed.
The interior staircases are magnificently detailed. It's amazing. You know, the spindles are these extraordinary spindles. All of that's being replicated as is.
There's some great borrowed light in there, as the Brits would say.
Okay, so
Yeah.
to move this on, why don't we go to the elevations? And if you take us to east-west section, page number 2, is that, I think, is your first elevation page? And just walk us around the building.
Back to that. This is existing. Okay, here's new.
Okay, so you're on page 301? Is that correct?
302.
302.
301's existing.
Okay. All right, so just take us elevation by elevation, if you would.
Okay. It can be, obviously, elevations are. So there, the top elevation that you see, which is the elevation that faces west, you will see two things that I pointed out earlier. One is in the central section, the steel.
It's
Pardon?
upside down.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry. Keep trying to defer to
No,
Okay.
them saying
it's-
it.
it's hard to-
The steel windows in the center section that take the open breezeway and make it an internal space, exactly in the same plane that it's in right now. And you also see the thing I mentioned where the two sliding barn doors are. We have a glass four-light panel that's put in so that when they open up, obviously they had nothing because they were open to air.
Okay.
Then on this elevation, what you're seeing is the west sort of extension, and it is simple form, lower ridge height, trying to be somewhat quiet compared to the rather formal articulation of the barn. So you're seeing one glass window that faces
Right.
west.
Okay.
And that's very far away from the.
Yeah.
you know,
Going down to the elevation that is the sort of south elevation, we have on the non-street side, we've added some dormers to the roof and an opening of a doorway on the historic barn. The lower section of the barn is left as is. And then moving west, you'll see the conservatory that attaches the existing historic barn to the new addition. The windows of the new addition on the ground level replicate the sort of cadence of the windows that are around the ground level of the historic section. And then there is a lattice porch with an upper deck that is not covered. And that lattice is taken from the east elevation of the historic barn, which if it might be helpful. Shows you that lattice work that existed on the barn, which we are, the arches and the lattice work, which we're using as a point of departure for that covered porch. Going to the, oh, and I thought it might be helpful, sorry to jump in. I brought you, for that conservatory, this is a greenhouse that we built on the property at 56, and which is the language that we are employing for that conservatory.
In the new addition.
addition.
Okay.
So just, and materiality-wise, it just shows you it's the cedar with then the white sashes.
Okay.
Going then to the east elevation, again, you're looking at, on the right-hand side, the historic barn, which is just being restored as is, with two additions. One being, again, the open sort of hayloft areas need a window, so we have put a very simple 4-light window behind the sliding sort of the shutters, as it were.
And the shutters are existing, right?
They're existing. And they have that pattern of, there's diagonal patterning
Yep.
in all of the sliding doors, et cetera. And then down in the lattice that I was referring to earlier, that middle door right now is open, because it's an open breezeway. So we are taking the, again, referring to this picture, the lattice work, here's the open breezeway. We're taking that lattice work and creating lattice doors down with glass behind them, so that
Good.
it will seem inevitable. And then you see the side view of the conservatory and the new addition building. Again, pretty, again, quiet and somewhat quote-unquote dumb to sort of just blend.
And the cladding material in this whole thing is red cedar
Correct,
to match the existing?
exactly.
Okay. And the roof is?
Well, question for you guys. Right now, on these drawings, we've called out for the new building to have a red cedar roof and the barn to have an asphalt roof, because it does now. I would probably venture to say, if it were my druthers, we did that to sort of, that was just sort of an idea of sticking with what everyone's been used to seeing. I'm open to it all being a red cedar roof as well.
Do you
What's
have,
the year of this?
No doubt the original.
Oh, the original roof
Red cedar.
was a red cedar, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but now it's asphalt,
It's
so,
asphalt.
yeah.
you
Okay.
know. I mean, we brought a asphalt,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
You know, I'd be open to that.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's an open discussion.
I mean, I don't think, sorry, asphalt is much of a historic
No, it's
signifier
not.
personally.
It
but
just depends how much people are,
there are some houses
married
I
to
like
it.
that they have, now have, that did hit, like, must have been 40s and 50s asphalt. but
yeah.
we're
It should
not
be
dealing
studied,
with that.
right?
What?
It should be studied?
Yes.
Well, I
Wait,
can guarantee you that this is a layer of asphalt over an original
They didn't
wood
even have
shingle.
asphalt. did they?
Well,
No.
More,
I'm going to go back and look, because we actually have two historic studies on this building.
Oh,
in-
yeah.
In the file.
We already have historic
Oh,
studies
Yeah, we
on
have
this.
historic
Yeah.
studies on the
Great.
building in the
Oh,
file, so I'm
fantastic.
going to go check that, but okay.
okay.
All right.
Coke
And-
Pepsi to me, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, it'll be more beautiful as a wood roof, I think.
And then, don't disagree with that at all. I just want to,
No, absolutely.
just want to look at the historic files that we have on this and see if there's any evidence of when that roof was done. Because
Right.
it probably, it would not have been what it is now in
No.
1905, I know that.
Right.
Okay, and so it's all going to be, and all the trim details going to be to match, and you, because it's not really on our file, you have extensive photographic evidence of this entire house, right?
Extensive.
Because I don't see it in our
It's
file.
in the April
Is it in the April file? Okay.
Not so much.
Okay.
You want additional photographs, we'll
This
take
is
whatever you
that.
want.
This is
Anybody can
April.
come over, photograph, whatever you
Okay.
want, whatever you need.
Okay.
We had the entire house
This is April.
photographically surveyed inside and out.
Yep.
So,
I remember doing a visit
Yeah,
to, a
we've
site
been-
visit,
yeah.
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 Very cool.
Yeah,
We've all been on tour.
even me.
All right. Well, first of all, it's exciting. It's exciting that someone's doing this work to preserve this building, because I was afraid at some point it was just going to fall into the ground. So
Me
this
too.
is great.
Yeah.
Board members, comments.
I like it. I think it looks good.
Thanks for
And,
realizing the integrity that
Yeah.
it started with and not trying to.
Right. Look, I was ready to come to you, I think, on 2 other occasions, and I just kept saying it's not. I have to go in knowing that what I'm showing you, I think, is a beautiful restoration and alteration to this property. And so
Okay.
we took our time because,
I personally have one quibble, which is the dormer.
which
Because
dormer?
the dormer that's on the historic building, because when you look at the rhythm of this building, if you look at page 302 and look at the rhythm of the building, it was perfectly symmetric all the way through. And now on the second story, you've got this dormer that you've put on the long slope roof line that matches north and south on this building, and suddenly you've disrupted the symmetry of that building. So
But
that's
do remember, and I totally, that is set, if you look at the side elevation, where, because elevations collapse everything, that dormer is back.
But when
Tw-
when I'm
25.
looking at my 1905 historic building that has perfect symmetry,
Right.
and did for a reason, because one of the reasons it was oriented this way was to take breeze off the ocean to keep the horses cool, because there was 14 horses in this building.
Right.
I think that was my one quibble, because I think you're taking away the perfect symmetry of what is the historic portion of this building, where I think you've done a great job in many ways, and I appreciate all the detail. One of the other sort of rules in this is that in what the addition it needs to be subservient to the original historic building, which it is, which is great. And it's also an obvious departure from the architecture of the historic structure, which is great. That's the only thing from my perspective that I find troubling, is that you're going into the historic roof and changing that, which changes to me it changes the symmetry of the building from
What
its
if we did the following?
from its original intention.
What if, because another way to do this is the way I did the doors going out of that, was we cut into the roof. So if you looked at it in elevation as opposed to the dormer protruding, if we brought the interior, if that glass back in,
I don't think we don't want to, he's saying, I don't want to disturb what the historic profile, I guess.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes. Because you're actually interrupting like the historic timber of the roof of this building.
I think that's probably correct. Because you got a lot of stuff going on otherwise,
Because
Right.
the rest where you've put glass where glass wasn't, the doors you're rebuilding, the ironwork to cover what was the open, all makes perfect sense to me. But it doesn't but it's not, it could be taken away because the rule is you could take it away and the original historic building would be there.
right.
The dormer, if you took it away, you've taken away historic timber up there. So that's my only quibble in the whole
Right.
thing.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I think it was a desire to the client probably, and for all, that if you're going to make this kind of investment in saving this thing, that is the part that faces
Yeah.
the ocean.
right.
And so to turn your back completely to put the kind of commitment that this restoration takes, which is significant.
My job is to speak for the building.
I know.
Not
I'm
the client. My
I'm
job here is to
just- I
speak for the
know.
building.
And sadly.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just,
So I think
I'm
what I'm
trying
going to say to you is
throw
you
him a
think
bone
about you
here.
think about that.
okay.
Because we're going to pull the historic reports that we have and look and see what evidence we have of the roofing material. Because you've heard it. I think everyone's in agreement that wood makes more sense for the building. I want to read through and make sure there's nothing in there that I'm not aware of where the roof is
See which one it
concerned that
was.
would change it.
I don't,
Yeah.
they weren't making asphalt
Yeah.
shingles when this was.
I still
I'm
want to
sure
look
it
through
was-
that.
I'm sure it was a wood roof
Yeah.
that was
We
on
just
there.
have to dot our i's and cross our
Oh,
t's.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
our
yeah,
job.
yeah. And I'm not arguing one way or another. I'm,
And we already have it. It's fantastic.
yeah.
Anybody else? Any other comments?
No, it's
great.
It's kind of amazing, actually, the whole thing.
Very cool, isn't it?
Are there any comments from the public?
Hush falls over the land.
I'm sorry, you have to come up. I'm sorry, but you have to come up and say it, I'm sorry, into the microphone. I hear you. Thank you. She is actually saying that it's wonderful they're saving the building, and it is. The building is spectacular.
It's spectacular.
The shingle work on this building is not to be believed. It's just so beautiful. Okay. So, all right, so why don't we adjourn, and I'm going to pull that report, and you're going to think about that dormer. Because that's the only alteration to the historic building that I find troubling.
Is there a window on that wall now? Nothing,
Nothing.
just, oh.
Yeah.
It's a long,
We've
it's a
gotta
long,
give 'em
perfect,
something.
slow, sloping roof.
Mary Catherine is here.
Hello. All right.
Do you want to, just, why don't we talk about that a little bit, with Mary Catherine, with the window? Yeah.
I don't.
I don't want to put words in any, I think the board is incredibly positive and excited about this. The only issue, I'll let Tim explain it.
Is the alteration of, on the, is adding the dormers facing the ocean from the second floor
Of the existing.
of the existing building. I was just saying, we'd like to come to some sort of, find a solution that everyone's could be happy with. It would give us, because of the sort of commitment and effort to save this, we would love to be able to see the view toward the ocean from that side of the house. So everyone's,
We're thinking,
I can just say a few things.
you have to come up.
I'm sorry, but you have to come to the microphone.
You do.
And then Nina, is Nina on?
Well, I don't, we were like,
Yeah, yeah.
we're having, I feel, kind of
That TV's
cameras
broken.
and- That TV's broken?
Yeah.
And this one is, they're probably both dying. That
But
doesn't,
anyway. If you could introduce yourself for the minutes, please.
Hi, I'm Mary Catherine Navab, and as you all probably know, we own the properties next door, and this was always a dream of ours to put this back together again. And I have to say that the original owners who we bought it for, we were very disappointed at the last minute it fell through and we didn't get it. And I have to say that I was shocked when the family came back to us and they said, we're going to honor your husband's with a handshake, that we always said that we would offer you this property back first. So that being said, this was not something that the children and I ever thought that we were going to do, but we care so much about the village and how this property looks. And we were just really, I mean, I first said, thank you so much, but no, we don't need that. And then all of a sudden, they said, well, we're going to sell it probably to a developer. And I just got really nervous about that. So fast forward to the question at hand, and I don't know what all that you guys have talked about beforehand, but like the barn, I don't feel like there's anything in Southampton like this. Like when I go by, it was like, it reminds me of how Southampton used to be. And even from our home, we overlook that, and that's why it was so beautiful. And even little details that Kevin and Tim tried to do for us, we tried to mimic. Even the fireplaces that we had, we really paid attention to this barn without having it. Fast forward to, it is a different world now. Everybody wants ocean views. It's one of the top property locations, arguably, that, we feel so blessed to have it. And it's very hard to justify to have that space and not to have any ocean view. And when you're in that, and you can tell by looking at the windows and everything, there's not a lot of light anyway. And so we thought that hopefully, because it's going to look exactly the same from the street, I even cared about looking exactly the same from our house, because since we looked down at it, but we thought, wouldn't it be nice, because this is going into the future, and I wanted to, whatever we built, we wanted it to last generations. And I thought, I have to give some sort of wow factor or some sort of feeling like, you know, you can watch the moon. I mean, I can't even tell you how special it is to see like what we see over the ocean. And this was our only little bit to be able to have that experience. And so we, you know, take as long as you want, but that is where I was coming from.
Okay.
And that's where we, you know, and that's why we even try to do on the back of the extension, just to have just a visual of the ocean, which is right there, by the way.
Yes.
It's just that you would never know if you're in the existing barn, you would never know that. So it's only that one area. You won't be able to see it from the street. I can't even see it from my property. So I know other properties are not going to be able to see it next door because I see how they face. And I would just love for you guys to probably make
Yeah,
this.
and we could study if there's a quieter way to
Why-
do it.
Why don't we see if there's a quieter way?
Right. And where it's not so
Yeah, because, you know,
dormer.
our job is,
yeah.
we are, you know, as the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation, is the original building, which you're doing a lovely job on. And by the way, you have the most spectacular entry gates. I remember when we approved those gates.
Oh, thank you for
Yes,
approving. You
yes.
guys have been so, I just want to say.
You've been in front of us many times in that house, yeah.
I just want to say something else. I don't know how new or old or anybody is, but
I'm old.
You know, we did 172 South Main, and we just cared so much about 172, and then we took that over to this property. So I think you know what we're trying to do here.
We do.
And so, and I want to say people are like so terrified of you guys and everything like that, but I just want to say for my family, you have been so gracious to my family. And I'm so appreciative, and we take all of the, you know, the feedback, and you know, I'm sure we'll go back at it again. But I wanted you to know why we wanted to be able to have some sort of ocean exposure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so you're going to think about it. We're going to read the report because I want to make sure there's nothing in the report because I think wood roof is more appropriate. And then we'll go from there. So I'm going to motion to adjourn the application for 88 Gin until June 23rd.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second?
It's a Monday?
Oh, second.
It's always a Monday.
It's always a second. All in favor?
Will it be here?
Trick
kidding.
trick
No,
question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that brings us up. Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments. I really do appreciate them. That brings us to 136 Great Plains Road. Do you have the affidavits, and are they in order?
Yes.
This is the garage. This is the garage. Okay, if you'll state your name for the record.
Ciulio Architect for 136 Great Plains.
Okay.
We did a pool house a few weeks back, a few meetings back, and at the time we scrapped
I
the
feel like you have a
garage.
regular rhythm of bringing us buildings on this property.
No, we scrapped the garage because it was in a non-conforming spot. We couldn't do it.
Yep.
And we were contemplating maybe go zoning, maybe this, and then we figured out a way to do it that's in a conforming spot. And we changed the garage a little bit, and so therefore I'm back again.
Okay.
So the pool house that was approved last time is here with the pool, and we're doing the garage on the side here, and had a little walkway, you know, toward the main house. So it's quite separated from the main house, and we're gonna have a second curb cut so that it's a service entry on the east side, and that's basically the site plan that's changed. And then the building is very similar to the pool house design, and also mimic the original house. And roof is cedar, siding cedar. Brackets, we have dimensions of the current bracket that we measured, and they're painted gonna be sage green, just the same as the house. We have the paint at the house, we're gonna match it.
Okay.
So. Are these doors or windows?
That was my question, too.
Oh.
Are the garage doors
Are those-
solid with windows at the top?
Solid with the window on the
Okay.
top.
So there's just one rank, these are just one rank of transom
Yeah.
windows, and the rest
Yeah,
are solid
like-
panel
yeah.
doors.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any surface fixtures? Light fixtures?
Light fixtures. There are two here in the back.
Okay,
It's a west elevation.
okay. And none in the front?
I think probably nowadays people have those motion sensors on the garage door when they, when the car
Oh,
will come
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think
Nothing,
really.
well, there's nothing mounted on the elevation facing the street, I guess is
No.
your question.
That's my
right?
question. There's no surface mounted light fixtures. Okay.
No.
And just for the record, because this looks like clapboard, but it's not. Is it shingle? Is it clapboard? It's shingle.
Sorry,
So it'll match the
I make a
existing
mental
house.
note next time
Yeah.
I use
Yeah.
a different hatching pattern.
Okay. Board members?
Looks good to mind to me.
Yeah.
I have no
And
objections.
it appears to be the same amount or maybe less driveway, right? Because you're cutting
It's
off
actually
the.
less
it's
driveway, I
less,
believe.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're taking away hardscape, which is
Right,
good.
which is good.
Is Nina on? Nina, do you have comments? All right. I too walked it, and we walked the property. I think it's appropriate. It matches the house. It's good looking. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, so with that, I'm going to motion to move to written decision to approve the garage at 136 Great Plains based on drawings submitted, or drawings dated October 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Whoops, sorry.
Okay, so that takes us now to public hearings, non-historic, the first 36 Windmill Lane LLC. It's on the agenda. Well, you're back.
Hello, hello.
Hi. How are you?
We're well, I think.
Lisa Zalewka, the architect for 36 Windmill Lane, Shippies.
And what are we here for?
I would love to get an approval.
I have a question.
Yes, dear.
Talk to me about these bricks.
About the what?
Bricks. Where are these bricks going? This is the ad in the paper
Oh,
that says you want people to buy bricks that have sayings on them. Where are these bricks going? Inside the building?
I think he was talking about the brick wall.
Facing inside or outside?
You tell
Because
me.
these are not in your
Not
application. These are
outside.
not in your
You tell
application.
me. Okay.
These are not in your application.
I didn't take out the ad.
Well, I know, but I got the ad. I was like, where
no,
are
I
these
mean,
bricks
they
going?
can
Because
fa- they
they're
can face
they're
inside
technically
if they-
signage,
Yeah, they
and we
can-
don't know what they'll say.
Okay.
So if
It goes
you
in.
can stipulate that they face inside the building,
Okay.
then we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
They're not actually anywhere in our application, are they?
No, but since they are,
Well,
that's why they're on the picture, and
not
that's why I just wonder
messed
where they go. Okay.
I don't
I was unaware, but, and unfortunately, John had to leave. But yeah, no, I mean, if that was a thing, we could certainly stipulate that they would
Okay.
face inside the building.
Okay. Board members, any other questions? I feel like we've looked at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've beaten it to death.
I think the question was, you went in front of zoning.
So.
Where are you with zoning and planning? Wasn't that the problem here?
So we've been in front of zoning, we've been in front of planning, obviously, since November. Zoning has closed the hearing. They directed their counsel to write up a decision. But then they canceled their meeting. So I will be at the ZBA tomorrow to get my decision.
Okay.
The conversation is more directed towards occupancy for the ZBA as opposed to setbacks or anything that would affect this board. So I would very much love for this board to be able to approve it pending the ZBA tomorrow, if you are in favor of that.
Are you done with planning?
I am not done with planning. Planning has closed their hearing. They also canceled their meeting at the end of June.
Terrible.
It's crazy. But the last question that came up had to do with drainage, and we have worked it out. Obviously, we're under construction with the septic system and the drainage. That's all been worked out with the mayor. We have our health department approval that really has nothing to do with the building permit, so we're under construction with that now
Okay.
and installing that. So that was the last issue with planning. So as far as I know, we're good with everybody.
Okay.
It's just a matter of getting the boards to
It is.
to
This-
not
This
to
now
not,
goes,
uh,
this
to not
this now
adjourn.
becomes a council question.
Yeah.
Remind me what your zoning board relief is?
My zoning board relief has to do with outdoor dining. We are asking for more seats than the 50 seats allowed in outdoor dining. We are asking for a bar located within outdoor dining.
Does not affect the appearance.
It
No,
does
yeah.
not affect
I
the
actually
appearance.
watched the meeting. Everything is in front. The other issues were taken care of. The only outstanding issue is the number of available seats and the interior bar. None of this impacts the exterior of the building.
Okay, and tell me where you are with site plan.
Site plan, they closed the hearing. The last remaining issue had to do with the drainage that was worked out between the village trustees and their LMKA, I always mess up the name. And that's all been worked out. It's been closed, and we're waiting for a decision with them as well, which we, of course, couldn't get because we didn't have zoning.
Okay, here's what I will say. This is not what this board does. We always go last. However, this board also has a history of making exceptions for businesses because these businesses are beholden to a very short season during which they can make money.
Great. I think
Agreed.
You're right. think
I
it's
agree.
gone
And
on
also,
even for
it's not
us
their
so
fault that
long.
those other
It's
two
not their-
meetings passed, but I did watch the zoning meeting to see what was going
And
on.
it's unfortunate that those meetings got canceled.
Yes.
It
Well,
puts the
yeah.
business
Okay.
owner in a very
So-
difficult position.
The what?
I'm going to ask, are there any
It
comments?
puts the
Yeah.
business owner in a difficult
Terrible.
position.
Yeah.
Any,
Okay.
any comments from the
Okay.
public? Okay, now I just have to remember what I'm approving with you. I've seen so many drawings.
It's good.
Okay, so I'm going to
One
motion
and
to
two-story
approve.
addition?
Pardon?
No, it's like, it's not.
So I'm going to motion to approve the application for 36 Windmill based on March 12th were the most recent drawing. Just,
Is that right?
is that right? That's when we changed the elevation, right?
We changed the elevation, we sent you a new
The green,
rendering.
the pink.
Right. Is that the March 12th is the most recent? 'Cause we've
I
seen-
see an April 14th right here. Is that possibly it?
Yes, that's possibly, okay.
Is
One
that the
was-
final rendering?
Yeah.
Where we said that we like, oh, here we go.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay,
Yes,
so.
that's it.
Is this says,
Okay.
I don't know what that
So-
says.
So I'm going to approve, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to motion to approve, we're in historic, move to written decision, to approve the application for 36 Windmill Lane.
No, we don't need a written decision.
Uh,
You just
okay,
approve
to
it.
approve the
It's not-
application for 36 Wind Lane based on materials received April 14, 25, with the stipulation that anything that goes into the printed brick program is faces inside the building. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Oh,
you
I
so
forgot
much.
something. We're going to approve it, and also pending receipt of a ZBA and planning board decision.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
All right.
Thank you so much, guys.
thank you.
Maybe by Christmas, the way things are going.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is going to move us. Okay, so that moves us to new matters. First one is 75 Halsey Avenue to construct a second floor addition, rear deck. Do you have affidavits and are they in order?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Hello?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and council. My name is Denise Shern. I'm the attorney for the applicants at 75 Halsey Lane, and I'm here tonight with our architect from Jason Thomas Architecture, Steve
Cinquemani. Cinquemani, that's okay.
Thank you. This is a proposal for a new second floor and rear extension to an existing single-family residence, as well as renovations to the existing pool house structure. This property is located at 75 Halsey Avenue, outside of the historic district. The site work that we're proposing includes modifications to the existing swimming pool, new stone patios at grade, a new outdoor shower, the IA septic system, and related fencing and plantings. Currently, let's see, what should we show them first? Oh, this is the
Existing house,
Perfect.
yes.
Okay. So currently, with the existing house, there is a 455 square foot second floor on the house, but it has sloped ceilings, knee walls, not much room up there. The plan would be to demolish that existing roof and the floor joists and build a new second floor, finishing at 958 square feet. So the total addition to the second floor would be 503 square feet in total. The proposed work, as it relates to gross floor area, pyramid log, lot coverage, and parking requirements, is all within zoning. There's no application for relief on this project. In fact, the modifications to the swimming pool reduce the existing coverage. Existing coverage on the property is over slightly, it's grandfathered. Now it'll be under the maximum allowable coverage. So the design actually brings the project and the property in further compliance with zoning than the existing. By way of numbers, just so the board's aware, the proposed residence is 2,506 square feet, which is below the allowable 2,532 square feet, and the proposed lot coverage is 2,607 square feet out of the allowable 2,945 square feet. Now, with regard to materials and the project itself, flip. Perfect. So what we're proposing for the roof is timberline weathered wood asphalt shingles. What we're proposing for the siding is Maybeck, am I pronouncing that right? Maybeck siding with pre-dipped shingles in the color Maybeck Seacoast.
Is that a cement product?
No, it's a natural wood
It's
shingle.
a wood product.
They're just pre-stained.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the windows, we're using the Marvin Elevate Stone White windows. The windows will be surrounded by white as well. We are trying to keep the look of the existing house to some degree with that existing doghouse dormer on the top. The existing house has that as well, and we noticed that several houses in the neighborhood actually have that too. I'll show you the screen as well. But this is where we took some of our ideas from in terms of design. You'll see 63 Halsey Lane, 69, 63 Osborne, 81 Halsey, and 87 Halsey. All of these have sort of a similar front facade than the one that we're proposing. These are all in the surrounding neighborhood, and you can see that on the map that's on the diagram as well. If we can flip to, let's see, so for the rear of the property, or the rear of the house, there's going to be doors, sliding doors that will be, let's see, they're going to be black in color.
Yeah, it's like a charcoal.
A charcoal?
It's RAL 7021 as noted on there.
Okay. And then between the house and the pool are porcelain pavers with natural gray finish.
So the rest of the windows in the house are white, but you're doing charcoal doors on the lower floor?
Just on those feature units facing the pool, and then it's also on the pool house as well.
Okay.
Somewhere.
I have the other renderings here as well.
What's the front door?
What is that?
That's,
Is that the
gray
gray
too?
too?
Isn't it?
Yes,
Is it metal? The front
It's-
door is metal?
wood. Yeah.
Are there any surface mounted lights at the front, or are they all soffit mounted?
They're recessed lights.
Recessed
Yeah.
into the,
Okay.
into the ceiling.
And is there a glass panel on that door, or is it solid wood door?
Solid wood door with the glass side lights.
Okay. There's something funky going on. It's probably your program when you reduce it, but when you look at the mullion patterns going around, the mullion patterns going around the house, every single window is different. So, because if you look at what we see, I got a 6 over clear,
That might have been the way it plotted.
then I got a horizontal 2 over clear, and then the doors suddenly become very contemporary. Is that a result of your rendering programming?
It may be the way it plotted. I'm just trying to get to.
So,
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, see,
It's
like
because
every
I
window's
have a
different.
transparency and it's missing
here.
some lines.
Yeah.
But if you look at the renderings, it's a better representation of
Yeah.
the lights. So the lights are all consistent around the side. Let me give you
so they're 6 over 1?
6 over 1.
Okay.
6/1 for the double hung windows, which face forward, face the
Right.
street. And then we're using casement windows on the sides to meet the egress requirements, which are also consistent. I'm sorry, just. Yeah, it's the way it's printed. I apologize about that.
Okay. Board members, questions?
Such an iconic cottage look. It just seems a shame to make it look so modern with the gray siding instead of sticking with natural cedar shake.
In the back, you mean?
Or throughout the entire house, I would do cedar shake rather than the gray. It just seems to be giving it a much more modern look than the charming cottage look that it has now.
Actually, I don't mind, I
Seems to be a lot
don't
of
feel
painting.
that we can tell. I don't feel good about saying if it's gray or white. I do think the front door might be my issue, that it is looking contemporary in a way that I think is strident in a strange way. I don't care about, like in the back, who's back there? The people who own the house, right? But the front door, I feel,
Like with the flat panel or something?
I don't, it's just off. to me. It's, what, part of it is the side light, it's the whole thing, that there are, if the side lights,
I think what's bothering you is the trim framing,
oh.
because it's got a
I
picture
hear
frame.
you.
It's got a picture
Oh,
frame all the way
okay.
around it.
It's not a bad
Because
idea.
there's a 4-inch piece of white trim. It
So
looks
then
like
it would
trim at
just
the bottom
be
of the door. It
dark.
looks like it's picture
What color
framed.
is it? Gray?
It's a charcoal color, yes.
But is that charcoal color only there?
Am I crazy?
It's on
It
the
is
it's on
back.
the front door and then it's on the rear columns and the back sliders
Okay, that's what
as
I'm
well.
trying to decide.
Yes.
Saddle.
I think I think that's actually smart, what you said.
Right. So normally you'd
Yes, you're
have a
right.
saddle at the bottom,
You're right.
and the door would sit.
Very
You
surprised.
step in, but you'd have a saddle
It's
and
right.
gray, and then your trim goes up and around. But right now it looks like
Right.
a picture frame, and I think that's what's throwing you off.
I think you're right. But besides that, you can live with the front door?
To me, the front door, well,
It's fine if you can. I'm listening.
no, it's fine. It's a quibble. It's not a kill. It's not a quibble. But I think actually your door hardware is it almost looks like it's value engineered compared to the door, because normally you'd see
A big pivot door with
a big
long-
door with
yeah.
full hardware.
Yeah, understood.
And what it looks like right now is an interior door handle. So I think that and the way the saddle is at the bottom of it's throwing people off. And I actually think, I know you have lights in the ceiling, but actually surface mounted lights would actually warm it up a little bit, but that's your call.
Okay.
I actually think that's a good idea, too. I have to
The,
say, Mark's on a roll.
the one thing I would say about your windows at the back, I think they're overscale.
Yeah, too much.
When you look at houses of this period in this neighborhood, these big glass doors that go across the back, they're overscale because they go to the wall edge. Normally, you'd have some exposure, like a shingle exposure down the side to be a little wider.
So if you look at
And
the
how,
right,
and how tall are they?
they are 8 feet. They're about 8 feet tall because we're using the existing ceiling height down there, so it's we don't have much to work with.
Okay.
Fire.
They look
But
to
if you look at the right side, you'll see the shingle line.
Yeah,
The
I
left
see it.
side's throwing it off a little bit because the column's kind of blocking it. But
Yeah, but I see like one shingle.
yeah. I see what
Whereas,
you mean.
yeah. So I actually think if you brought them in just a little bit and gave more balance back there and made the doors just slightly smaller, it wouldn't look so contemporary to the rest of the house and it'd be more typical of that neighborhood.
Understood.
Mm.
Okay.
I have the same comment for you at the pool house, with the way the windows sit, and the frame of your trim is going all the way around, and your white trimmed across the bottom where you should have a saddle or a disruption. Your trim should trim, not go all the way around that way. And again, here, are there any exterior facing? Are there light fixtures on this?
There would be light fixtures. There would be sconces on the
Okay.
pool house, so we could bring a spec in.
So if you could, indicate on the drawings and on your renderings where the light fixtures would go.
Okay.
And then bring us a cut sheet of what they look like.
Absolutely.
Think about making those windows a little bit smaller in the back, because the scale it feels too big and too contemporary, which is atypical for what we see in this neighborhood. And just think about your front door hardware. I think it's throwing people off, and that the trim there. So that's what I'm hearing. Or anything else? And
Yeah,
then
the front door does look very modern, and it may just be the rendering, but it does look very modern as compared to the rest of the.
Could bring some glass in.
for the neighborhood, it's not something I wouldn't vote for. My preference in that when you drive through that neighborhood is most of the houses, we seem to be graying everywhere out because it's frankly, I think sometimes the material cost is different. It's a value engineer thing, but a natural, I would prefer it in natural cedar, but it's not I would not vote no for it, but I think it would look better in natural and more harmonious to the neighborhood in a natural shingle. But that's not a requirement.
Something to study.
Are there any comments from the public? All right, so you think you can make those changes and be ready by June 23rd?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment for 75 Halsey to June 23rd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
thank you. So that takes us up to 136 Hetty Creek for additions to first and second floors of a primary residence. Do you have the affidavits and are they in order?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Hello, if you'll introduce yourself, please, for the camera.
Let me just set this up first. Yeah, thanks. I'm going to share this.
And I would just invite the audience members you can chat in the hallway, or there's some chairs. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, good evening. My name is John Yanacito. I'm an architect, and I'm representing.
John, I'm asking you one thing. You see that microphone?
Yes,
Just
speak into-
just slide it closer to you.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is John Yanacito. I'm an architect, and I'm representing Mr. John Zyman and Mrs. Jessica Mezzacapa this evening. So we're proposing additions and alterations to the existing single-family residence located at 136 Hetty Creek Lane. The proposed scope of work will include the removal of a covered porch here at the rear, and an addition of a single-story addition at the rear, and then a two-story addition in this small sliver here at the side of the residence. We're also proposing to extend a portion of the existing second floor over the existing first floor footprint, and we're looking to remove and rebuild an existing pergola at the rear of the existing residence.
Okay.
So I'll go to the elevations. So here we have existing and proposed front elevation, which is the south elevation. which, so the majority of this elevation, nothing is happening here. Everything is going to stay the same. The addition is at the rear here, which is beyond, at the far end of the rear. So this, the existing shows the existing covered porch, and then the proposed shows the new one-story addition in the same location.
And you're going to remove that porch and put a new foundation, or drop this over new foundation?
Correct. This is going to have a new crawl space.
So it'll be HVAC. The new space will be?
Yeah, so it will be
It'll be
conditioned space. yes.
conditioned interior space.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then here we have the rear elevation, which is the east elevation. So the existing and proposed. So here is the existing covered porch that will be removed, and the proposed one-story addition. And then up above, the second floor will be extended over the existing footprint. So the ridge line will extend across, and the existing dormer will extend across. And then the existing pergola gets built in the exact same location. The only difference is, right now, the pergola is built over a stone patio, and we're gonna introduce a wood deck there to raise it a little bit, because right now you have two steps that come down right at the door. It's kind of a trip hazard, so you'll be able to walk out onto a deck and then step out. And the finish on the deck will be epay.
Okay.
And then here we have the other side elevation, or the north side, which shows the existing and proposed. So here's the existing one-story addition, which actually is a double-height kitchen space currently, which will be replaced by this two-story addition here, which will follow the same exact roof line that exists currently on the house, and just extend it out towards the side, both the upper level and the dormer. And then here is the side view of the one-story addition, which replaces the covered porch. And then the west elevation, same as the front, nothing is really changing on this elevation. The portion of the addition that we see is beyond the garage. Here is the existing roof line of the existing one-story space, and then the second story that extends across. So the roof line will all align with existing ridge, existing eave line, and be beyond the garage. On the materials, all proposed materials will match existing. So we have cedar siding, and we have cedar roof. The windows will be a wood Marvin window with simulated divided lights, painted white. The trim boards will be AZEK, painted white to match existing. Yeah, and the gutters will be in aluminum to match existing also. Half-round gutter, match existing.
Okay. Board members, questions, comments?
Yeah. The changes,
Minimal.
if I were gonna really make changes, I wouldn't want the front-facing garage, but obviously that's not a possibility. So once we get beyond that, I thought it's acceptable and kind of respectful of what's there.
Okay,
I would agree.
okay. Nina, are you on?
Because,
Okay, I agree. I think it's respectful to the house. I think it's harmonious to the house, it's harmonious to the neighborhood. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, then I'm going to motion to accept the application for 136 Hetty Creek from drawings dated, what's your drawing date? 4/29/25. Is there a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Same to you.
Thanks.
Good.
Okay, so that brings us to 140 Potato Field Lane for exterior alterations, renovations, and addition to a primary residence.
I can't believe how cold it is everywhere.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Mario Wróblewski. I am a designer for this alteration of existing house, and basically it's a typical house which we just renovating.
You want to take jurisdiction?
Pardon?
Do you want to take jurisdiction?
I want to take jurisdiction. But
All right. So, as is shown on page A 000. There's a site plan showing the calculations of square footages and lot coverages. We're taking some and applying that extra square footages to extension of the kitchen. Also, we are permitted to have a small garage on the east side of the property, and basically the house stays as is. It's just changing the roof coverage and siding and fenestration. And I'm ready to answer any questions.
And you're the architect?
Yes.
Well, are you an architect or not?
No.
Well, designer.
Okay, so you're not an architect.
I'm
So
not an
who's the architect signing off on the drawings?
He's not present here.
Okay. All right.
Who's an architect?
Whom?
An architect, because we don't see it. I don't see it.
Well, as far as I know, we don't have to have that architect on this drawings yet.
Do you?
Right.
Or an engineer, right?
You need an architect or an engineer.
Well, for architectural review board, as I know, and I consult this thing with the building department, we don't need to have that stamp yet.
Council,
But we have one, right? Don't we have one?
You have one, he's just not here.
Oh, yeah.
You have, in your drawings, have architect stamps on them. He's just
Right.
not here. That's my question. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
the sign
All right.
stamp.
All right.
there is, I mean.
Okay, well, let's go through with
Okay.
comments. Yeah.
Not, okay.
Okay. Comments?
I mean, maybe we should start from existing condition
Pardon?
and then alterations.
If you want to take us, if you just take, you can just take us through your proposed alterations.
Okay. So in order to explain this thing clearly, we should start from existing. And pages name EX, right, as an existing.
What page are you on?
EX 202, for example, or EX 201.
EX.
EX 201. What I'm going to say is, we've all looked at the house. That's our job. We've looked at it. So why don't we just go to what you're proposing? So jump to here.
So the biggest alteration will be on the south elevation, changing the existing dormer on the second floor, which is strangely low, and top of the window is basically on a height of 5 feet. Therefore, I'm changing that thing to more classical shed dormer with a small walkout, with a balcony. As a balance to that thing, on the east side, we're proposing another dormer, which will provide the light to additional room on the east side of the second floor. Also, the big change is eliminating this pediment above main entry, which is kind of awkward, I thought, and just continue with roof line. And also big openings on the living room, currently with small windows, and client would want to have more light on the south side. Therefore, there we have plenty of doors going out towards the south of the property. And going towards west, we have a porch right there, which currently enters to the kitchen, which is somewhat awkward. Therefore, at this location, we're going to have a dining room, and with a bigger opening, allowing more lights. Also, between two main volumes, which is house and a garage, currently there's a double slope roof line, which it's not too presentable, and also interferes with a dormer on the second floor of the main house. So I thought then we would eliminate that thing completely and provide a flat roof. But the flat roof is going to have small railing. And going
Is there access to that? Is it a roof deck, or is that
No,
just a
there
decorative
is
railing?
not. It's just decorative thing.
Okay.
Going back towards the north, we would like to convert the existing garage into pool house, as currently we have a pool on the property and there is no pool house, so therefore that would be like additional amenity for that place. And then, as it's visible on the northeast rendering, there is the volume of a new kitchen, which also has this extended roof line, flat roof line. And on the east side of it is a small garage, which is for one car, and it's that's it basically. Siding, it's vertical stained cedar. Window casings are also stained cedar, but a different color, slightly lighter to emphasize the fenestration. And the windows and doors would be oil bronze color. One feature on the west side of the house is a red brick chimney, which we would like to stain also on like a beige color to eliminate additional, too many colors or something, just simplify that look. And all this thing is, and that's basically it.
Where's Nina?
Here's- Okay. Board members.
It's a lot of glass.
And different
Vibe.
well, different, there's 1, 2, 3 that I can see on the northeast elevation. Stacked in those doors. And then,
Where does that balcony overlook?
It overlooks the street. This house
okay.
sits on a corner lot, and what is this? This thing now aims at the corner.
Got
So
it.
all the light from here would go to the corner, and this balcony would be front-facing out toward the street,
Got it.
Towards the south.
to it,
yeah.
which is the street, because it's a corner lot.
That's what I thought.
And then, I don't know.
It's a sort of, to me, there's so much, I don't think the balcony, I couldn't go with the balcony. First of all, I think it's very awkward in the,
Yeah, we generally don't
do
approve
that.
street-facing balconies, because there's a couple reasons. Light, you've got all these windows now where right now there's a door and a wall, and you've got so much glass facing into the corner that all the light from this house heads straight out to the neighbors across the street on both sides. So that there's too much glass there. When we go to the center at the end of the driveway, are those 9-foot glass doors? Is that, those 9 feet? And again, they're enormous, and your light emanates in this house straight out to the street, and too much light ends out to the street. When I get to the northeast view, look at your window sizes over those large windows that you have over is that the kitchen? On the second
Yes.
floor? They seem out of balance to the windows on the other parts of the house, in scale and size. And then, so it's vertical, it's not board and batten, it's vertical.
Yes,
It's
it's vertical.
okay.
is it all? I thought that the kitchen has a different.
No, kitchen and a dining room, which is the connector between two main volumes of the house. I mean, house and garage. It has horizontal siding to emphasize, and this is just new.
I don't know about the
I-
conceit of having a railing on a flat roof.
Oh, that's not coming. I don't think we can.
No, there's not access.
I
to
mean,
it,
we
but-
have plenty of examples of things
Well,
like that in
Well,
Southampton.
what we look at is what's been typical in Village of Southampton, typical of what we see. And I think what you're hearing is that the members of the board don't find it appropriate for this house and for this neighborhood, and therefore they're not finding it harmonious. That's what you're hearing. I think it feels like the amount of glass all the way around this house and the amount of potential light pollution is exorbitant. So the total glass volume needs to be pulled back. Those great big 9-foot doors at the end of the driveway need to be brought down, because right now, if you lit this house up, you would light up the entire corner. And you're not lighting the backyard, you're lighting the front yard. I know it's hard because it's a corner lot, but you're treating the one side of it now, which is the current, I guess it's still the front door, but you're almost treating it with all your sliding door as a use of a yard, which is great, but it's too much glass and too much light. The balcony facing the street is something this board is probably not going to approve. That great big light facing the driveway, that's too big and needs to come down. Do you guys have any comments on the northeast view?
Well, I find the use of the vertical, of the horizontal for what's new, it's the kitchen, is it not?
Yes.
Which has the flat roof and the balcony railing. To me, it just makes it more of a hodgepodge. That's what I think it doesn't add anything. I also find painting.
The monumental doors are, yes.
So, and the street is right
How about
here.
the chimney?
No, the monumental doors are here.
That I think it
The big-
just
the
turns
big
out to
monumental
show
doors are here,
a
and the
chimney,
corner
which is
is
not
here,
the
facing
most.
Right, okay,
street,
so
yeah.
that's very
Well,
close.
chimney is
Aesthetically.
existing, there's,
Yeah.
I mean, chimney is existing, this is.
What is there? What color is it now?
It's
Red.
it's brick.
It's brick.
I would just leave it, I think it would be better brick. Because otherwise, it's the main feature of what you see, because of its being painted, if it were painted. And there's so many different roof lines, and it's a very confusing
Well,
look.
those roof lines, I'm not changing those roof lines, this is what is there.
there's
Let
a
me help
door.
you for a second. This is the architecture review board. If you want to build a house in the village of Southampton, you have to have the votes of at least 3 people on this board in order to get a building permit. So if you look at me and say, I'm not changing, when you're hearing that there's a problem with something here, you have to be open to hearing what we're saying, because we're going to have to work together to find a place where this house is acceptable in order to build it. Okay?
I do understand that,
Okay.
however, that's my response. The question was, then there is plenty of different roof lines,
Yes.
and I'm saying, then I'm not changing them.
It's not a question, let's put it that way.
Sir, can I jump in also?
Please. If you either go to there or just go to a microphone.
if I go here?
Yeah, just
Sure.
as long as we can hear you.
Introduce yourself, please.
Sure. First name Arthur, last name Mlatkowski, the owner. So I think there's a misunderstanding on the roof lines. I think what he meant was the roof lines are the existing roof lines. He didn't mean to say that he's not changing anything. I just wanted to clarify that.
Fine, thank you.
Because if you look at the original
Is
building,
the-
you can
is
see the
the-
same roof line. So the
Is
only thing
is
that
the
is
roof, is the roof line on what is currently a balcony, is that the original roof line in the house?
I couldn't even figure that out.
yes.
Do you have a picture?
Yeah, if you look at this, though, it's so
I don't think
radically
it is.
different, though.
I don't think it
The
is.
roof, you know what I mean, compare it here to here.
So the main purpose of
You know,
the
it doesn't matter.
There is no,
Yeah.
there's no dormer that comes out off
Yeah.
the second floor facing that way.
yeah, the dormer is
Is
this
new.
way, so you can see.
Is new, actually.
There we go.
So
So the roof line is the same, the dormer is different.
the dormer is different.
That's right.
Yes.
Sorry, that's part of
So, and now your roof line is coming off the ridge line.
Well,
Well, it is.
yes, yes,
So,
yes, yes.
yeah,
No,
so it
I'm-
is a new, it's not existing. You're proposing building a new roof line there.
Of this dormer, yes,
Okay.
yes, of this dormer, yes.
Okay, so I think we are clear that the board,
Yes, the garage becomes house, and there's a new garage being built over on this
there.
side. And this whole thing here, this
Is
roof goes
this.
away, and
Right.
that's where the enormous windows are.
okay, so I think we are clear that the preference is not to have a balcony facing, and this is the change that we will make. Also to clarify, the larger doors are not 9 feet, they're 8 feet.
Still.
Yes, and then you ask us to
Then what-
remove
Yeah,
the
then what size are the doors in the living room? 7?
8.
No, those are 8.
8. Everything is 8.
But how can that be?
How can that be? Then your rendering's wrong.
Right.
Like, You're telling me that those doors are the same height as these doors?
No, this
No,
is.
no, no, we talk about
right-
here the,
Right there.
These are the gigantic 9 ones we're talking about?
No,
Which is
this
way too
this
big?
Is just this is just a covered porch.
Well, the
No, that's
The
the
doors are
front
too
door.
big, it's too much glass, it's light that projects straight down the driveway into the street. And because your other doors are also facing, the corner faces toward the street, they don't face the backyard, the entire house lights up like a light box and pollutes the neighborhood with light. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
And that's atypical for this neighborhood and atypical for Southampton Village. Most people don't move and live into the front yard from the house. Usually they live to the backyard. It's a little trickier in corner lots, and I totally get it. But you've taken what is a closed walls, you've opened them up, and you've given it as much glass as possible, which is also as much light to the neighbors as possible. So that's what you're hearing from us. And then on the northeast view, if you look at like the window heights on the and sizes on those two recessed wells over, I guess that's the kitchen,
The kitchen's that little square thing.
this thing, or is that the kitchen? Oh, was this a den? And then you've recessed it, you've gone out of your way to put as much glass again as possible, and it's too much.
okay.
And it's
this is-
atypical for what we're looking for.
This is very well noted, and we will make
Okay.
those changes. Thank you.
And then do you have any external surface mounted light fixtures on this house?
We're going to have sconces, but all of this thing obviously is going to comply with regulations of.
Well, they need to be
pointing down.
indicated, I need to see on here where they're going.
You can't get it.
Sure, and that will
Yeah.
be noted on the next
Yeah.
drawing.
Okay.
And we did spend a great amount of time figuring out the flat roof. We try to keep it the way it is. It was just not working out. And the kitchen and the dining area in the front of the driveway, it's one connected area. So we try to add the different roofs. It was just not working out because these are two separate buildings right now. They are connected through the middle.
Right, and we have
On,
the rooms
look,
right
on
there.
Potato Field Lane, there are some contemporary houses. The house across the street is very contemporary.
Yes.
And there's transitional houses, and there's a mix of houses there. So I'm not saying, we're not saying, what you're hearing is that this is a more contemporary expression of what is currently a traditional house. And you're not hearing that it's completely out of character for the neighbor. But what we're saying is you've pushed the expression so far and opened it so open and so light that it's atypical and has the potential to be disruptive to neighbors.
Totally understand, and we will make those changes.
Yeah.
Really pay attention to the front door.
Yeah.
Because that much monumental glass in the front is really, that to me is my biggest.
All of this
concern.
here just lights up.
Yeah.
It's too bad you can't twist the house around, and that could be what's facing the backyard, but
Yeah.
that's not what you have.
It's an existing
There's
house.
plenty.
Yeah,
of
no, I
space in
understand
the
that, I'm just
back,
saying, everything here looks like it's a backyard, but it's not, it's your front yard.
yeah. Right.
So you're hearing,
Especially the
you're
front
hearing where
door.
you need to go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
this
why
is
this
very well
stand up?
noted, and thank
Okay.
you very much
Okay.
for
Thank
feedback.
you.
Why this stand up?
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
any comments from the public? All right, do you think you can be ready for
Oh,
June?
sorry,
Do you
one
think
more thing,
do you
the-
think you could be ready for June 23rd with the revisions?
I think so. The very
can do that.
important thing, if we could approve the gates today, that would be a big help to us because
Do we have the
You
gate?
have a gate
Yes.
application as
Yes.
well?
Yes,
it's part of it.
But for me, I don't see
page A000.
A000?
Yes.
Do you want to see the gate?
Oh, I'm having trouble.
Is there any house in that neighborhood that has a gate?
Yes.
Where?
There's at least
There are pictures
Two.
of the neighborhood,
Just-
four
just-
houses,
try-
and I believe
Here's
they
the
are.
gate. A's, it's this.
What is it, what's the number, A what?
Where the site plan is.
A000.
Site plan.
It's tiny, this little
I'm not
thing.
finding it, A000.
I have it on my phone. We
Oh, here it is.
Draw
Here,
around the
it's
neighborhood
just-
and we
It's on a
copied
page
All
with,
right.
with a color, says Potato Field Lane, and it shows
Yeah,
the
yeah, it's right at the beginning.
site plan,
Oh, no, it's not, 'cause I ripped my thing.
where they showed the.
But are you
Share with
asking?
me.
Okay.
But wait a minute, you're putting gates on one driveway but not the other.
We want to install the gate right now before the build out.
But your plan shows, your plan, what you're asking is for gates to be approved on one driveway, but not the other.
I don't have a second driver now.
Yeah, you do, in your plan.
In the plan, sir,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
But now, so I mean, we would not start the build-out until after this summer. So if we want to live in the house now, we will need a gate because we have a big dog and need a gate.
Where is the gate position?
They're putting it,
Trouble here.
they're,
Okay.
it's a double gate to go here.
There.
We took the picture, we
That's
drove
the
around the
gate.
neighborhood, we saw a few gates and calculation has
How tall
been,
is that gate?
it's,
7.
whatever the regulation is, 4.4 or 4.8,
Just a minute.
yeah.
It's,
We ran it by the building inspector and it was within the regulations.
And how does it operate? How does it function? Or is that, how does it?
how do you open it?
How do you
Gate is
open it?
4'6".
4.6, yeah. And you open it
An
Manually
electrical
or
panel or just manually?
Manually.
Manually. It will be made from cedar.
Well, that, what do you think?
It will be a light gate.
Yeah.
Are you
Uh,
keeping it eventually? Is this gonna, you're gonna have this gate?
We
or
want,
is
we
this
would,
a
we would,
temporary
we would
gate?
like to keep it because it's.
Because you're under construction right now on the interior.
We are under renovation.
Yeah.
And will you propose to put this matching gate on the other side? I mean, maybe that's not relevant right now, but.
Yes.
No.
Well,
they'd-
but it's
they'd have-
really
they'd have
difficult
to-
because
They'd have to come
eventually,
back
yes.
and
Okay.
ask again.
Eventually,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. The only question, tell me about this light fixture at the top of these posts.
There's one post. Is there two?
Well, I'm assuming there's two, because there's two.
Yeah,
There's two,
There's
there's
two.
two.
Of course, it's two.
Yeah, so each one has a lantern that looks to be about 2 feet square.
Oh, that.
Right.
Is that a cap or is that a lantern? It's
No,
frosted
it's
glass
a
Lantern,
lantern.
frosted
Yeah, it's a
glass,
lantern,
yes.
oil rubbed bronze frame. 1.5 something, bluestone top. A bluestone top?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just the
There's a
cap.
bluestone
That's
cap,
just
and
the
on
cap,
top,
yeah.
on top of it's like a big
A big
oil
light.
bronze light fixture. How do you feel about that?
I don't see the point of the big light thing. Frosted glass, what, we don't know, it's,
Do you have a cut sheet on the light?
We don't.
If
It's 6
the
inches?
light is the deal breaker, I'll take the light out, but I need a gate as soon as possible, please.
all right,
Okay.
let's do that.
Yeah.
We have to mark it up, right?
I'm a little concerned about the post, though. I mean, I'm not really understanding how the gate works from.
It will be regular post that will be, what is it?
16 by 16.
16 by 16.
Right.
It will be covered with
Well,
cedar.
Big 16 by 16.
Yeah, it's big.
That's big, yeah.
Honestly,
No.
from my perspective, the contemporary post sort of, it's weird because we're approving a post before we've actually approved the house, and
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. I'm not sure they have harmony. Counsel, you looked at me. What are you trying to tell me?
I was not looking at you.
Okay.
I was looking at my computer, sorry.
but
Would
I
you
mean-
like me to look at you?
No, I thought you had a statement for me, because this is odd that we're approving a gate before approving the house. Can we separate it out, or would it need to be a separate application?
I don't have a problem with it from a procedural standpoint. I think the applicant could be shooting themselves in the foot. Because,
What's
there's
the
a
gate made out of?
gate
Cedar,
versus
you said?
house
Cedar,
issue.
and we did ask the building inspector, and actually he was the one who says,
You realize in almost every circumstance, the last thing that goes in is the gate, not the first.
Yeah.
But yes, okay.
no, but
He's
but
worried-
it's
he's worried about his
important for us to
dog.
have
I
this gate
understand.
now because we want to live in this house,
Yeah.
and the renovation will be over on Friday. And he says it will be easier if you attach the gate application to your existing renovation, and he says he'll be completely fine with this.
And they're worried about their dog.
I just
But
don't want the
I'm
dog
just
to run
worried
out.
about the size of these columns.
They're not big at all. I can actually pull a picture because if
Yeah,
if
sure,
you
let's
pick-
do that.
yeah.
I mean, just give us a better idea of what we're,
I mean, 16 inches by 16 inches, that's not really tremendous. The gate itself is going to be 16 feet wide.
Well,
Look at the doors you showed us, so it's, everything's relative. Your tomato.
who's building the gate? It's custom?
Yes. And it's actually already framed.
Yeah, we
Don't
love.
tell
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
I
It's
that-
not installed, it's
No,
there, but
that
it's
could,
just,
that could put a
it just
big old,
happens there's a
that
lot
could put
of
a big
big
old
dogs
bullet in
around
your
the
foot,
area.
but okay.
Plus the deer comes in quite often, and we just don't want to.
We don't want to hear about that either. Everybody has deer. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, 1 second.
Everybody's sort of like, puts fences around their backyard,
No, picture of the gate.
and the deer are coming in because you don't have a
Oh,
gate on the other
The
driveways.
post is here.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make
Well, it
sense.
doesn't exist now.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
I think you're gonna have to give us the,
Oh, yeah. Can I show you? This is the
But-
size of the post, and it will be covered with cedar. It will be covered with cedar, so it's not large at all. You can see the compared
that-
to the.
Well, that's a post. You could cover the post with anything, but okay.
Yeah.
and what
It's not
about, and it's, the gate itself parallel,
Goes like that, and it's calculated. I'm gonna pull the picture.
So,
does it open in the middle or it slides across the
Opens-
property?
Opens in the middle.
Opens in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I'm looking at this gate, these are open areas on this gate. These are not panels. These are open areas.
Open
So
areas,
you've
yeah.
calculated transparency to at least 40%?
Yeah, gate calculation is down below.
40% minimum. Solid part.
And we got like 38 square feet, right?
I mean,
38.
here is the.
I don't think
I'll
it's
show
gonna
it to
pick-
you
yeah, I
again.
don't think that's
This is
gonna
where
pick-
we took the gate from, but look at the post. Our
Oh,
post
those
will be-
yeah, but those posts are huge.
Yeah, so ours will be, this is from the village, so ours will be a third of this, as I show you. So it's a small post, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, what
Like
he's
this.
saying is not on the record, because he's not talking to the mic.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
All right, you have to go back to the microphone. Okay. All right, board, what do you want to do?
I feel bad for the dog.
The gate means
Children
a lot to
I
us.
feel bad for the
Get
dog. I'm
killed.
not, I'm having trouble understanding much of the gate, and it was brought up,
Yeah.
like, that there's,
How about this? Could we say you could do it, but then later when you have to reevaluate it. We have to reevaluate it.
No, once they're approved, they're approved.
No.
Here's all I got to tell you. Other than the light fixture on the top, the actual
think it's
gate,
fine.
the actual gate, and the 16 inches it looks bigger here than it actually is because it's only a 4-foot gate,
Right.
and it's hard to tell. So the size of the column and the cladding materials in the gate doesn't really, I don't really have a hard problem with. So I would be willing, for me, I'd be willing to approve the gate, and they would just take the,
Without the
and that's
lights.
it.
No lights, we'll take the lights out.
Okay.
And you have fencing already? The fencing is up?
It's hedged.
It's a
It's
privilege-
hedged, it's hedged,
privilege
yes.
Okay,
hedge
okay.
all around.
But the hedge has fence, has that green
Yeah,
fence, mesh fence.
that's
in
right,
it?
whatever the 1 inch is, it's between the,
Kathy, can you pick up your mic?
oh, sorry,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
all right,
Yeah.
we don't care about
Yeah, I
what
know,
it
now
is.
I'm still back on the
We're not in
dog.
the
That's
dog
okay.
business.
All right.
All right.
All right, so then I'm going to motion this. I'm going to motion to adjourn the plans,
Adjourn the application for the house.
the house plans
And
for,
pool house.
the house plans and pool house plans for 140 Potato Field Lane, but approve only the 2 gates and
One
gate
gate.
post.
One gate, sir.
One
Oh,
gate.
You're just putting one gate, your plan shows 2.
There's one gate.
One gate.
They just want to do that one.
Okay, your 1 gate, you just showed me 2 posts, so weird. The 1 gate and the 1 post without a light.
2 posts.
Two posts.
posts.
It opens
No,
this way.
But then you have 2 gates.
This
No,
way,
there's
that's what-
one existing driveway.
And
So
has
there's
2
one
gates that open
gate,
like this.
has
one
2
gate,
gates.
2 posts.
Two
one-
wings,
It does, it,
2 panels.
2 panels,
Two-
yes,
two-
Okay.
that's right.
Yes,
2
the-
posts, 2.
there are 2 gates, there are 2 posts. The driveway is 16 feet wide, and the gate
Right.
is 7 feet 9 inches, so there are 2
On the
gates.
condition that the applicant remove the light fixtures from the plans.
Right,
Confirmed.
okay. You're proposing it? Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then you can be back, you can adjourn for the house plan?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
For June,
Two
for
weeks.
June 23rd.
Please,
Okay,
thank you very much.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That takes us to 101 Toilsome. What?
don't? Okay.
There's no audio. I just ran from Sag Harbor. There's
Oh.
no audio on the Zoom.
Oh.
So I saw she was there in the beginning and she
Yeah.
was talking, so there's no.
There's no audio
So
on the Zoom?
I grabbed my laptop
Oh.
and came over. I hope this works. So perhaps that's.
That may be.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, she sent me, said, you guys are muted, I'm leaving the meeting about 7 o'clock. She couldn't hear it. All right.
Okay, so how should I do this? How should I share my?
Share the screen.
Just go to raise my hand?
Yes.
Yeah, and then he can find you.
Okay. And then mute myself, I guess, right?
I don't think we care about that.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the-
because
yes,
there'll
mute
be.
yourself, so
It's
there's not,
double.
so there's not, so there's
Okay,
not
I'm
an echo.
sorry. I was like, okay, there it goes, okay.
Okay.
I'm Nicole Adams. I am part of the architecture team.
And the only other thing to say is pull that mic closer to you so we can hear you. What?
Pull it closer.
Closer,
Closer.
yeah.
Yeah, because it is doubling.
Okay.
That's right. So my name's Nicole Adams. I'm part of the architecture team for 101 Toilsome.
Okay.
We're here to present a proposal for a rear addition to the existing house. I'm just going to share my screen if possible.
So,
Yes.
on the application form, I spent a huge amount of time looking for what I thought was 4,538 extra square feet, because this says,
Can you just mute your computer?
Just turn the volume all the way down if you can't mute it, yeah.
the square foot area of new building additions, but you put in the square foot area of the entire
Of
house,
the
I
overall,
believe.
okay,
So
so,
we don't know what that is, and that should be corrected.
okay.
Okay?
It's 120 square feet, but okay, well.
Well, that's great, because I was
You're like,
having
no
I kept
way.
thinking they're doubling the house size, I just don't get it. Okay.
Okay. So I just want to start with the overlay, the site plan of what we're proposing, or what we are talking about, the Toilsome existing house. Can you see my hand when I'm, oh, yeah, you can, great. So we're just proposing an addition out the back. There are also some window changes and some side yard changes that we're also proposing. The, this is the existing facade of the house, and these are our neighbors to the left and to the right. And these are, the pictures below are our neighbors across the street.
Do you know the age of the house?
Yeah, it's like 2003. It's about 22 years old.
Yeah, that was,
It looks older, but.
it was how it was built,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
Look,
I
it
had to-
looks
I had to go
older,
back
so
to,
if-
I had to go back to find the build year, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, it said
there's a lot of
2011.
I
stuff.
don't think there was anything there before. I think
They tried to,
wedged that
they
in.
tried to develop two
Yeah.
lots, I think, on it. There was
Yeah.
a lot that happened.
I drove
over
by
there.
it twice, because the first time I said, oh, it's an old house, and
It's
then.
nicely done.
Yeah, right, and so that's what, I just want to make sure that we had the,
Yeah, and the gardens in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so the reason for really wanting to do this renovation started with an interior renovation. The first floor, it just started all in the interior. There's an existing kitchen that was kind of in the middle of the house. It's blocked by a stair, so there's no relation to this backyard, which is beautiful. So we wanted to bring that kitchen towards the back, towards the living, the indoor-outdoor space. And in doing that, we want to add 5 square feet to be able to do that.
Okay.
In the back, I
Okay.
know, I know. So basically, this is the proposed plan where we can have, we're not adding bedrooms or anything like that.
Okay.
So there's just a more modern kitchen, connected to a living family room. This outdoor patio, there's an existing one which is being reduced. Another thing that we're asking to do is there's a side entry to the cellar, to the lower level, and it's we'd like to actually reduce the setback on it and make a real stair. So it's actually now encroaching like 6 feet into the side yard. We would reduce that to 4, but it would be a real stair. There's also this very large patio. This whole side of, like, if you're facing the house, they're left neighbors. It's kind of the west side. There's a very large patio, and this is very utilitarian, this side of the house. So we are trying to make this less utility and more garden and nice. We'd like to bury the HVAC equipment.
We don't
But we
have
only do
any,
the outside.
we only look at the outside. So what I'm going to actually suggest is why don't we just go to A200, where you've done a great job of putting existing and proposed, and just take us elevation by elevation around the house.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, go to elevation. Proposed. Okay. So, actually, can I start with front? I think that would be better.
You start wherever you want to.
Okay,
Just,
thanks. So I'm gonna go
just
A2
go around the house.
Yeah,
Okay.
So the front of the house, the upper elevation is the existing front elevation. What we're proposing is no change, really, to that. There's a little bit sliver that you can see on the left-hand side, but that's over 120 square feet from, 120 feet from the front yard.
Okay.
As you go around up the driveway, so now we're coming up the driveway, this is the existing house. We're proposing to relocate the entry, the side entry, a little bit closer to the front, and the windows are being changed. So these new changes of windows on the upper story will match the windows in the front of the house. And we bump out back in the back of the house about 5 feet.
There's your 5 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're smoothing out the roof line because you're losing, and you're pushing the roof back because now your ridge line now smooths out across. If I look at your
Exactly.
proposed, your ridge line smooths out and goes all the way to the back, and you're picking up some ceiling height there, right?
Picking up some ceiling height.
Okay, and that's where your 5 feet are. You're adding a gang of 4 windows.
Mhm.
You're doing a change to the second 2, and below you're moving a door.
Yes.
And you've made one change. You've changed the fenestration in the back on the right-hand side of the house.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
Well,
yeah, I'm sorry.
where's the gang of 4 windows? Is the existing?
We're losing those?
You're losing,
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
actually,
they're
because I was
going
going to
out.
say, what
Yeah.
about the neighbors? But they're having fewer.
Yeah.
Is this-
Oh, okay, these look at bathrooms. Okay.
Right?
those
Okay.
are, yeah.
Okay.
And then if you go to the back of the house,
Which is
um,
not A201, but
no, I'm going to skip to that, that's A203. That's 203.
Okay.
So that roof, again, is kind of getting straightened out, brought over a little bit. There's an opening, a large opening, that lower kind of covered porch is where the 5 feet is being taken over and is becoming the kitchen living area.
Is there we're on A203, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a
Yes, there's a
balcony?
proposed,
Balcony on the,
yes, there's a proposed balcony.
Okay. And how?
It's not very deep. It's about 5 feet.
it's long.
It goes across the full back, yeah.
Okay.
And then the final elevation is the elevation that I was starting to get into. That is the side that is almost very utilitarian right now, where there's HVAC equipment, there's a very large patio, and we're proposing to remove a good portion of that patio and cover a portion of it, keeping it open and sinking the HVAC equipment. We're also asking to make a cellar entrance, a different cellar entrance, a real stair as opposed to the other entrance that goes kind of way into the setback.
Is that what the knee wall is?
Yes.
Okay. That's your 5 feet, and that's what you want to do?
That's my 5 feet.
Okay. Board members?
I have no objections, although I think that These, the houses are fairly, it's a long lot, right?
It's I have a
So I'm not,
site plan.
I think the balcony on the second floor is, first of all, I don't think it looks particularly good, but I think the house looks good. But I don't think it's, these, in such a narrow lot, you can see, I think you can see, in the other lots around it are narrow, is that correct?
Yeah, if you look, I actually did pull out, we did a drawing where.
So I'm not in favor of the balcony. Beyond that, I don't have real objections.
Is the balcony, is that a glass? It's hard to tell from.
It's a glass railing.
It's, yeah. And then it looks like there's 3 doors and then 4 doors. That seems.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems a little excessive for, on top
There's-
of 4 doors that are on the lower floor.
Yeah, it was just to get light into that kind of primary suite.
I agree with Susan. I have no objections other than the balcony, which I do object to,
In total,
Yeah,
in total.
it's just, it's,
Too tight a
if you,
lot,
it's,
the
that's,
lots
if
are
you
too
go
tight.
there and look, these houses are quite close together, and certainly the freedom is that you have a long backyard, which I think the neighbors on either side in this house has, is that correct?
yeah, we're not, if you look at the site plan, we're kind of in the middle of their lots. So there's not really, our view is not into their homes at all.
But-
It's passed beyond that. But the other thing is, so we didn't want to take more square footage. We didn't want to make a bigger master suite. We didn't want to, we wanted that square footage on the first floor. We didn't really want to
It does,
become
for us,
excessive.
it's the outside, you gotta
Yeah.
remember that. And also, we do have some consideration of privacy and noise for the neighbors, which is in, if you're in the, if you're in there somewhere, it's also to your advantage that people are not able to see you swimming in your pool or sitting around talking, it's just, I think it's, in this particular case, is particularly applicable that it's not a good idea to have a balcony. And what would you be looking at? 12 deer. Maybe more.
Their garden is quite
Yeah,
spectacular.
Okay.
they'd be looking straight down their backyard. is
Yeah,
what
Yeah, they
they'd
have
be
a
looking
really
at.
spectacular
So I don't
backyard.
think that's okay.
So this is their, this would be the
That's,
angle.
but besides that, it's a pretty house.
Trying to think if there's if there's a midpoint here. I think you're hearing that the big wide balcony is a problem.
Okay.
So,
guess they could-
how would you guys feel if they were small, the width? It was like
If they were smaller, like not
just the width
Juliet
of the
balconies,
two balconies, the
but
width of the doors, where if you open, you could at least step
I'd
out
have to go and look at
he-
the,
here-
how
here-
close those things
to here
are
and
again.
here. If we
I'm
brought
not
it
willing
in.
to say yes to that
Mhm.
unless I go over there.
Okay.
And maybe not a glass railing.
I don't care, it's in the back, right? Nobody can see it.
Sounds like the issue is the rail. It sounds like the issue that we have is the
balcony.
balcony.
Shall I come back with some options, not, in 2 weeks, or, yeah,
Talk to your client.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty firmly
against.
opposed, but I have to go look, I can look from the street probably, because they just, these
Yeah.
narrow lots.
Because what it is with houses, you step out and suddenly you have sight lines into your neighbor's backyards.
Yeah, nobody
that's-
wants
and
to
it's
feel
just not fair
like
to the
that's
neighbors.
going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody does.
Okay.
All right, are there any comments from the public?
Great.
So would you like to adjourn this into the next meeting and
Yeah.
come back with balcony options?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion to accept the applicant's request for adjournment to June 23rd for 101 Toilsome Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for driving all the way over here.
Sure.
It's on short notice.
Why was it short
Well,
notice?
she could,
Yeah, sorry about
sound
that.
wa-
There was no volume.
know how to.
There was
Oh, you
volume.
couldn't do the Zoom, so you, oh, I see.
Yeah.
why.
That's, yeah, I got a text from Nina. We were all muted to her too, so there's a problem somewhere.
All right.
All right, thank you. That brings us to 10 Halsey Street. Ten Halsey Street.
You know Howard, did you have any documents for 10 Halsey Street?
There's a bunch on the, there were a bunch posted, but there were no documents in my package for it.
So I think that's where we
Are they not
come
here?
across the problem,
Okay.
because I didn't have any.
Well, I don't see
either.
anybody hopping up, so let's move on to,
Hey,
oh,
it's
okay.
Brian
Thank
Grady.
you.
I just got in.
How come we don't
Okay.
have the documents?
Well,
Okay, can you hear
hopefully
me?
they can hear it. Yeah, we can hear you. You're a little
Okay.
low.
Yeah, there was no sound until just the last presentation, so. Anyway, my name is Brian Brady. I'm the architect for 10 Halsey Street, and I'll share my screen.
It's good, because
Brian, did you drop off all the packages with the village?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, none
Because
of us
just to
have documentation.
understand that none of us have them.
Yeah, they were in very early because of Memorial Day. There wasn't a meeting, so they were in
yeah, but
like 6 weeks before.
we didn't.
Somewhere
none
in
of
the
us have
building
something
department,
happen.
there's a section of packages. Okay,
Well, just use your, let's see what you have.
they're in the Dropbox. And actually, the date on the Dropbox
You
is.
don't have drawings?
No.
Nope.
Personally-
We literally have nothing.
Okay.
But when I looked in the
What we're
Dropbox, I saw the
proposing
dates, so
here-
I know you put them in on time, so, okay.
What we're proposing are, this is, the existing house is here, it's a two-story residence, and we are adding an addition to the front of it, and we are also expanding the width of the back of it here. Give you an idea. The issue with the house is, you can see, it's almost like it's two houses with the roof line. You can see this front portion here looks like it was a cape that was dormered out, and then the back section here, it has a much higher roof. So the goal for what we're trying to do, if I look at the elevations, is to, here's the side entrance here. You can see existing is a lower roof line here with dormers across the whole thing, and then this higher roof line here. I'm trying to clean up the architecture of the house and carry the rear roof line straight across. Okay. In the front of the house, here is the existing. You can see all the different roofs in here. And my client wanted to have a wraparound porch on it, so I'm wrapping the porch around it. It's staying the same on the side and changing the roof line in the front to match the roof line in the back. So now the rear of the house, you can see this is where we're widening it to bring it out to here, so therefore the gable goes up a little higher, but then it just basically gets all cleaned up. Okay. Here is the front entrance again. And then this is the other side of the house. This is what's existing. It has no windows here, and we're changing it and, again, trying to clean it up and get that roof line to work. So basically, this is what the house is going to look like.
Are you pushing the house closer to the street?
What's that?
Are you actually pushing the house closer to the street? Are you adding footage closer to the street? Because it's got a long setback from the street right now, right?
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, so your extension is actually going forward toward the street.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but it's still behind all the houses that
Yeah.
line Halsey Street here.
Can you go back to the rendering again for me?
And this is the rear elevation.
Oh, the balcony.
Yeah, but it's a very small balcony that's tucked into the roof. You basically can put two chairs there.
So talk to me about what do the sight lines look like that to the neighbors?
There are no neighbors in the vicinity. Let me get back to the survey. Okay, they own this portion as well. This house is up here. And this house here, which is on the corner of Hill Street, is much further up. It's about here. And these are about 30-foot tall green giants all the way around. There's really, you can't see anything from back there.
Can you go back to the rendering again at the back?
What was that, Mark?
I'm sorry. Can you go back to the rear of the house rendering one more time? And just explain how the balcony is built into the roof line.
Yeah. Let me show you. Here it is here.
So the roof ridge extends all the way over that balcony and it's set back into it. It's hard to, I mean, we're looking from here, so it's hard to say. Yeah, that looks like it. Okay. Board members, comments?
I think the house looks really very handsome. You know me and balconies, though. I don't know what to say. I'm against them, that's all. I don't think I think it, it interferes. How close, I know you showed us, but I need to then go over there and look to see what I really think.
Here, you can see this, how tall the trees are in the side yards and on this side yard here. And at the rear of the property, it's all here and here. And it would be just a little balcony sitting in the roof.
What are the measurements of the balcony?
I think it's 8 feet by, let me try to pull that up.
It looks to be about, it looks deep, like 10 feet deep.
It looks deep.
I'm not down with that. These houses on these smaller streets, I don't see why. I think already it's become a privacy and noise situation, which I hope we can ameliorate by not having intrusion from balconies.
This is it here. There's no issue with seeing into a neighbor's yard. You can't, and no one can see this either.
But it's a good-sized balcony, and you're up on the second floor. And if there are people out there, it does create a different level of noise than if people were on the ground floor underneath a porch roof. I mean, that's just
But it's
factual.
off their primary bedroom, so there would be 2 people there at the most.
We can't, we're not sending a monitor up to see who goes out on the balcony. I don't know. I'm against the balcony.
I feel like you've got approval for everything except for the balcony on the back. Is there another solution?
I know that my client really wants it. If I made it smaller, would that help?
I think one of the things,
The last project?
yeah, one of the things that help it, I think that the depth.
Yeah, it is about 8 feet, so it's probably like 8 by.
It's like a room.
Maybe
It's like a
15.
room, yeah, because you can put a lot of furniture out there.
They want 2 chaises out there.
Well,
Yep.
we can't,
Yep.
we have to do it from there's
I
plenty of room
understand.
up there. I'm against it, I'm sorry.
So it sounds to me like you've got approval on everything except for the balcony. Do you want to take a second swing at the balcony and see if there's another solution that's not as big and not ameliorates some of the concerns about privacy?
Yeah, I know my client wants it, but if I make it smaller, are you going to be saying the same thing, that we don't just don't want
that now.
I think one of the things that's going to help is like the board members, if we're concerned when we're doing for the next one, we'll drive over there and look at it, so we actually understand it from.
Oh, it'd be really helpful if you would do that.
Yeah, because I walked the house, but I didn't go up there. And the problem is we didn't have these in our packet, so.
We have no documents.
Yeah.
We're looking at what you're showing us only.
So why don't we do that? Why don't you think about? Yeah, I know. Why don't you think about maybe an alternate solution that has a much smaller balcony that's not as deep, And then we'll think about going over there and walking and taking a look at it. And then in the meantime, I'll work with the building department to find out where these documents are and make sure they're distributed to the board so they have ample time to look at them before the next meeting.
Okay,
Is that fair?
that sounds great.
Okay.
Okay.
Any comments from the public?
You have to come forward.
Please.
Not really.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Andrew Watson, 285 Hill Street. I own the property just to the south of the one we're dealing with here. And I guess my concerns would be, well, my first concern was I didn't receive notice about any of this, so I'm here sort of taken aback because I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Sir, if you could pull the microphone just closer to you.
Sure.
Thank you.
My concern is sort of the privacy issue. I just need a sense of, and maybe when you guys visit, feel free to come over to my properties to see whether the balcony in a way affects what they can see over to our pool area and into our sunroom type of thing. So I guess it's the privacy issue is my main concern.
Well, I think you've heard with the last two applications on these balconies, as houses, not this one, but some houses are getting taller. It's a thing we actually pay a lot of attention to. So yeah, we understand and we hear you.
Okay. And the addition is going out toward Halsey Street, and we have sort of two portions to our house. I have a floor plan here, the plan here. The one nearest to Halsey Street is a two-story with the garage and laundry room on the first floor, and the second floor is a bedroom and living room there. So my only concern there too is, again, privacy. Maybe it's not a problem at all, but because the bulk of the house, it's true, is far off of Halsey Street, but there is that portion of the house, which is closer to Halsey Street.
Okay.
So that's, so I'll be happy if you guys take a look and go with whatever you think is best, I'm sure.
Great. Thank you very much.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
with regard to the notice, where is it that you get your tax bills?
We get them in New Jersey.
Okay, because that's where the notice would have gone.
It didn't get there.
We do get some, we do get.
Well, I'm going to say that this is actually an issue for the building department because we don't do the notices.
No, this is an
Yeah.
issue for the board.
Okay.
I disagree, because this says that notice was sent on May 28th. So that's where it would have gone, so.
There were actually two notices that were supposed to have gone to us there at 300 Highland Avenue, Ridgewood, New Jersey. We received one, and that's for there's an applicant, which I think is next, across the street on Hill Street. So we received that notice. That was fine and signed off on it. So we're there in New Jersey practically every day, so it just, all I can say is we didn't receive it, so.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting us know.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks.
Is there in the notice of postings?
I'm sorry?
It would be in the notice of postings you received though, right?
Well,
The
I have
affidavits?
the affidavits, and I checked the date of the mailing, and they really should have gotten it. And I always like, when people say they don't get it, I like to ask them where they get their
Yes.
mail, because sometimes people aren't where they get their mail, and that's why they didn't get it. But if they're,
They
getting
should
their
have-
mail, then they should have gotten it
And
by
if they
now.
got one notice, they should have gotten two.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other comments from the public? Okay, so I'm going to motion to adjourn the application for 10 Halsey Street to June 23rd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to driveway gates, new matters. The first one is Bernadette Watkinson, 44 Halsey Neck Lane. Good evening.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Well, start by introducing yourself, please.
Oh, sorry. Devon Sinclair from Wingman IP.
Great. Thank you. Okay.
That's the wicker, all the wicker bottles. I've got it. Yep.
I'll share.
And I'm-
So we
Okay.
have the affidavits on this one. We don't have them on the next one, just FYI.
I'm sorry?
We have the affidavits on this one. We don't have them on the next one.
Oh, okay. He has them. Okay.
Here.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm running out of steam.
Go ahead.
Mark.
Here.
But I had the documents.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we're proposing a driveway gate, automated, for 44 Halsey Lane. We're looking for 7 feet, and we're going to be also adding a 2 columns in front of the new gate. It's an old column. It's I believe 1920s, roughly. About 20 inches in front of the post. All the calculations are there for the 40. Okay.
Say that again?
So there are, we want to add 2 columns in front of the existing gate, 20 inches in front of it.
Because,
There were old columns from the old house.
Yeah. Hang on.
so the columns you're adding are for this gate?
I'm sorry, say that one more time, I'm
I
sorry.
don't understand.
So there'd be 4 sets
Louis.
of columns, so
Introduce yourself, public.
Louis Folo. The old columns were from the old house that was on the property years ago, and Ms. Watkins would like to preserve those columns and place them in front of the new gate. They're old and fragile, they won't support
Uh-huh.
a gate, so that's why she wants to put
So,
them in
but you're
front.
moving them?
They're taken down already, they've been removed when
Oh, okay.
she did her renovation, but she saved the old columns.
Well, we don't really have to, does that have
Okay.
anything to do with what we're doing here?
Well,
I don't know.
one thing, is there,
There's lots.
well, the question is, then how, on your site plan, how far are these gates off the road then?
The old column would be 20 feet, and then the new gate is 18 inches further
Behind
back.
Okay, and so what you're showing here, the column that has the control pad on it, that's the new column?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so you're just putting 2 columns in front of this because they're old and you like them?
And she would like to keep
And they're more than 18 feet off the road?
Yes, it's
So they're
20 feet.
not on it?
Yep.
All right. What's the size of the lot?
Pretty big.
It's big, right? Is it like 2 acres, acre and a
No,
half?
no, I think it's,
3/4?
3/4?
I think it's a half.
I'm making it up. Sorry, I did. There's some more stuff.
I can pull it up here.
I don't think there's any.
There's no ground plan.
Does it say? Is there a site plan anywhere?
It is.
Do you have a-
Oh,
do you have a-
wait,
do you have a
here-
survey?
Voila.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being the, but does it say?
104 by... Where's the total square footage?
It's not on here, puppy. Is it?
It's 26,214 square feet.
Okay.
So how does that compute?
It's like a half acre.
Under,
It's less than a half acre?
So it's a little more than a half acre.
Okay. But they only have Do you know what district you're in?
I don't.
It's
I'm not-
sort of the beginning of First Lane,
Yeah.
would you say?
Yeah, this, I think 3 houses to Hill Street.
From Hill?
Yeah.
And-
Well, I have no idea how to find them.
Well, hang on.
Of the zoning. Could you know?
It'll take me a minute.
Depends. Hang on.
I have like the SCP.
Isn't this too tall for this lot size?
I think on Halsey, they allow
Okay.
taller gates, I believe.
I can't find it. Oh, wait, open area? Oh, no.
Okay. Let's go through the gate policy here. All right.
I don't know.
In order to be, with our policy, in order to be more than 4 foot 6 inches requires street frontage of 150 feet and minimum lot area of 40,000 square feet.
And what have we got?
26.
26,000 square
That's a
feet,
lot.
and they've got 104
We were told
feet.
because it's on Halsey, it's a busy street, that we were allowed to go higher.
Nope.
That's not,
Well, it depends. That's why I'm asking, because this is the R75, R12, and R20 districts, so just,
I can't read this.
I need to know what district we're in.
Sorry.
Let me pull a file. It should say on there.
Hang on, see if it's in the paperwork here.
Oh, is there a map hanging up somewhere we can look at?
I don't have the district map to look.
We can't get into the building. I don't want to bother. I might have to come back.
So it's .648, there's acreage.
So one thing that Alex could have done, by the way.
Yeah, he's on vacation.
Yeah. This is all I got.
Do you have pull up your calculator? I like this thing.
Look at it.
I have my calculator.
On your phone?
Yeah.
Do you have it?
No, you can look sorely.
Oh, I do. Oh, it's going to offer mine.
No, this doesn't.
What do we do with them?
There it is.
There are 120?
R120.
The R120.
R120, okay. Because then just
So
check it.
then I think you
Yeah.
need that talk.
Yep, we're okay.
You're
All right,
okay.
All right.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
Had
Alex.
to know. Thank you, Alice.
Yeah, fit.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right. So what I'm seeing here in the gray shaded space, is it the open space?
Yes,
Okay. And the materials are
AZAC,
AZAC.
Isaac, and it's all painted white?
yes.
Correct.
Okay. Board members?
Looks good to me. No objections.
All right, so no objection. So then, motion to approve the application, well, that's my paper. Motion to approve the application for the gates at 44 Halsey Neck Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There we go. Sorry, it took me a minute.
Thank you, no, that's okay, sorry.
Now, we have a policy. I wasn't make sure that, we have a policy, and we need to abide by
We
it.
got it done.
Okay, so last but not least is 145 Wickapog Road. Yes.
just charming.
That's great.
But-
My
but-
pleasure.
We're gonna hide the new ones.
Yes, and the
That's
fact,
wonderful.
and anybody that saves something old and preserves it, we love,
they're just
because we are the Board of Historic
Thank you
Preservation.
so
much.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna hide their
No, no
new
problem.
steel
That's fine.
ones.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good, thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Hello.
I have affidavits now.
And are they in order?
They are.
Okay. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Andrew Sparby with Brian Mahoney Landscape Architecture.
Okay.
I'm Brian Mahoney, landscape architect.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
We're applying for automatic driveway gates
Oh, no wonder it's
at
fun.
145 Wickapog Road.
Yep.
Oh, it's in there somewhere.
So take us through yeah, take us through the gates.
Sure. So we're proposing they're going to be
Oh, it's
built out
this
of
house. Okay.
Izek, 7'7" tall. As the moving parts are, the columns would be 8 feet. And we're proposing 2 light fixtures on the front facing the street.
Okay, and they're dark sky compliant because they face
They
down.
are, yeah. The cut sheet is on there as well.
Okay. It's this house. All right. How's the barn back there?
Oh, God.
It's beautiful.
How's the old barn back
Is it
there?
actually getting finished now?
I think that's going to be coming across your board shortly.
The historic barn in the
The
back?
barn?
Yeah, the historic barn.
We've seen it a few
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
so.
Well, we
Bring it
saved a
on.
few years ago.
Yeah.
All right, board members,
I think the gates look too tall for the house.
at
but-
8 feet?
Or maybe it's the rendering. I actually drive past this place at least once a day. I don't know,
Okay.
it just seems a little, the house is pretty substantial, but what do the other people think?
I think it looks good. It's
Should we
fine.
say the lot size for the record?
I'm sorry?
Lot size for the record?
Oh, yes, the lot size is,
Sure.
huge.
43,839 square feet or 1.006 acres.
Thank you.
yes. All right, it is a little taller, but it's on Wickapog.
True.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
their lot slopes up. So again, it's where is the site? Oh, that's a great question. Is it here? How far off the street is this happening? Because this looks like a lot off the street.
29 feet
29 feet?
from the street.
The
Yes.
gate, the gate is 29
Yeah.
feet. from the
Yeah,
street.
then I
Yeah.
think it's too tall. I do.
Okay.
It shouldn't look like a fortress. We want to show, there should be, we want to show the houses in the village not close them off.
So you,
I do like how much light is going through the gate. I do think it's a great design, but I tend to agree with Susan that it's possibly too high.
At 29 feet from the road, I'm being Wickapog. It's quite reasonable to ask, especially with the amount of transparency we're providing. We have the low board just for that whoosh of the cars that go by. So we've given you a lot.
I do have to say, after all the years that I've been here, I don't know that we've approved an 8, but there's 2 8-foot gates that I'm aware of that are this tall we've ever approved. One of them is on Gin, which is the house we were talking about earlier tonight.
Well, there's a different
yeah.
size differential there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what you're hearing is like that.
Tone it down.
I think what you're hearing is they feel like 8 feet's too tall. They feel like 7's more appropriate. Or
We could do
you
7.
don't want to put words on what height do you feel is more appropriate. You think if you took them down a foot, they would be more appropriate to the house?
I actually do.
Yeah, down a
Yeah.
foot would
We
be
could do
fine.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if you want to come back next week with 7 foots, and then we can look at it from a design perspective and transparency. Everyone seems fine.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
The
lovely.
light fixture, because it's dark light constraint, we're all fine. And
Yeah,
the
it's
mechanics
just-
on the gate are automatic. There's no gooseneck.
Oh,
Okay.
how do you open the gate?
It's all subterranean
Oh, so
operators.
it's in your car? You can do it from your car? Is there a place on these posts?
Nope.
No?
No.
It's just,
It's,
okay,
it's all the
good.
automatic. Okay, so I think what you're hearing is if you come back with the same idea, it's 7 feet tall. That's what the board's looking for.
You got it.
Okay. And you think you can be ready for the 23rd?
Of course.
You think you can take a foot off that
You're
gate
gonna
by
whack
the 23rd?
off the bottom. No, no.
All right. So motion to adjourn the application for
It's called one special
what's the
Wickapog.
address again?
145.
145 Wickapog Road to June 23rd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are you talking? Okay, so with that, motion to adjourn the June 9th meeting of the Southampton Village Board of Architecture, Review, and Historic Preservation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.